wrestlers with open arms. In the heat of the struggle, we feel no harm. Through the fingers grip like steel's too sharp. Together we thrive like a thunderstorm.
Boom. Now we're live. How's it going, boys?
What's going on?
What's going on? We got Paul Passmore in the house. And then we got my boy Cody Sluggett, Mighty Mouse. Oh, we got Zane Lewis, Drew, and Darcy in the chat. That's real quick, guys.
Yeah, that was real fast.
Yeah, that's quick. We got people in the chat within seconds. I mean, you can't beat that. Yeah, I posted a little short, Drew, the other day about you. Just saying how great of a fan you are to arm wrestling and how you and Carolyn. I'm going to make one on Carolyn soon. So that she supports us really well. Hey, and one thing before I drill you, Paul, we're going to be business partners, I guess, because
Absolutely.
yeah, we're joining 98 with you. So make
98 for life. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Part of the family. Welcome to the family.
Yeah. First Canadian franchisee. Yeah. So,
but I was the first hillbilly franchisee.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we're all rednecks here, so
yeah.
This is Alberta.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Alberta beef for oil. That's all we got here. So yeah. So but yeah, it's awesome having you on. I'm glad I finally got you on. And I mean, your story's pretty good. I mean, I've been watching you. I watched you when I first started arm wrestling. I think it was before your injury. I mean, you were climbing the ladder pretty good, and then you had an arm break or something like that, right?
Yep, that definitely sucked. I was doing very well. I was super heavyweight, beating a lot of the top guys. I was on a good run. I had what led up to the arm break, I believe, was if I could talk to myself before all that happened, I was taking on everybody. I wasn't, and everybody I was taking on was tough. Literally once a month, I'd travel somewhere and pull some super badass guy, and I was running through everybody pretty well. And then I decided to really double up and make things even harder. And I took a super match right-handed against Herman Stevens. And the same day, I took a super match left-handed against Matt Mask. Then pulled the tournament afterwards, and it was one of the toughest tournaments, probably, well, the toughest tournament at the time in the United States, Mississippi State. And it was just loaded. And ended up doing really well in that. And when I got done that day, my arms just, they never hurt like that before. Matt Mask and Herman Stevens are not normal human beings, especially on the arm wrestling table. That's probably two of the absolute worst people you can have a match with. I ended up going, it was a 6-round vendetta, went 3-3 right-handed with Herman. That guy's table IQ is insane. We tied. I beat him round 1, beat him round 2. He beat me round 3. And then he beat me round 4. I beat him round 5. So I would have won 2 out of 3, and I would have won 3 out of 5. But then we had to pull that stupid 6th round. He got me. So it was exhausting with all the slips and fouls and restarts.
Yeah,
we were up there over 30 minutes, and then we had one really quick match in between, and then I was up there pulling Matt Mask, and I walked off the stage. I was trying to breathe all the air out of the room, and I was just exhausted. And I even sat down next to Matt. I said, I don't know how. I hope this match lasts a while because I don't know how the hell I'm going to pull you. And we laughed. I said, my ass is in trouble. We went up there, and I don't know. I caught my breath real fast, and I ended up beating Matt 3-0. And he was the one that I was worried about more than Herman. But Herman's just, yeah. Anyway, I guess I was so warmed up from it. And then I pulled the tournament, but both my arms hurt so bad. And I jumped in a national championship tournament like 3 weeks later, and my arms were still just killing me from all that. And I think yeah, you had those little toothache pains in your arm, and
Yeah, I got
I
it right
jumped into
now.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need to learn to listen to your body, or you can end up like me. And
yeah,
I had a tendency, and I still probably have it a little bit, but not as bad, where I just would refuse to lose a match. If there's anything I could do, even go into a very bad position, I would do it to try to avoid losing. And it eventually caught up with me. So it was a combination of all that. I got in a bad position, did something stupid with all probably micro fractures at the same time. I talked to Herman after I broke my arm, and he was like, I took the rest of the year off after our match. My arm was dead. I don't know how you tried to pull 2 or 3 weeks later, but
yeah,
anyway, I love the sport and love to compete. And if there's something nearby, I want to be part of it and jump on the table any chance I get.
yeah, yeah. I did the same thing. I hurt myself. So 8 weeks, about 8 weeks before nationals this year, I was having a good practice one day, and I keep saying it. There was like, good pullers there, Victor Beloff, Ali Hamadia, and there was good old Dale, Deadly Dale. He's a training partner of mine. But I was doing really good, and I had a pop in my elbow, and it was an injury, like something let go, right? I don't know what it was, but my side pressure was gone. So I spent 8 weeks, peptides, just rehabbing, thinking I was healed. Went to nationals, and then I just did it in, right? Like it was like a zipper. It was just like it was just done. Like so, and I was strong. I was probably the strongest in the class, I believe. I was very strong. But the same thing, right? Like, and my wife was telling me, Brian, do you really think you should be doing this? Like, you were just injured, you're just, and I'm like, I'm not missing nationals. This is my first nationals, is close. I'm going, right? And then my wife told me, and then I go, and sure enough, sure enough, rip, second match. I went for the pin. And normally, I mean, I can do the kill shot. Like a lot of times, I like to just take people a little bit to their B side, and then I kill shot them. Well, I just have this real side pressured press I like to do. And I went in like I normally would, and it just didn't hold, and it just ripped. I ripped the flexor muscle right in half, and then I don't know how badly I ripped the UCL yet, but the ultrasound confirmed that I definitely ripped it. I need the MRI. So our healthcare system's not the quickest, so I won't find it
Brian,
August. Yeah.
how long did the wife wait before she said, "I told you so"?
Not very long. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, not very long.
Mine had told me not to pull the day I broke my arm. I was sitting in the chair right after I broke it, and I got the "I told you so" within seconds.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
I
was
got
just
the
sitting
same
there holding
thing.
my arm. I was like, "You're absolutely right."
Yeah,
Really, that much I can say at this point.
yeah, yeah. Well, the wife's intuition's usually good, but we know, we're stubborn, right? So, but
Yes, I'm stubborn as a damn mule. It's a fault. I don't know why I'm stupid.
yeah, I'm that way too.
I'm overly stubborn. If I got my mindset on something,
That's
I'm
it.
going
I'm
to do
done.
it or die. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's a lot of arm wrestlers. To tell you the
yeah.
truth. Yeah, yeah. I think it's in the blood something, or that's why we all love this so much, right? So yeah, so and then I mean, you're shredded now. So what did you say?
Mhm.
You know what? I'm just gonna get in good shape, worry about my health, and wherever I end up, that's the weight I'll pull, or
Well, yes. I'll tell you really how I ended up. So I started when I fought. I weighed about 235 pounds. And the cutoff was 265, but I fought best about 235.
Mhm.
Kind of like Cain Velasquez, that was his fighting weight. You
Yeah,
had your movement, your flexibility, your cardio, your strength all seemed to be in its best combination at
that's
that
true.
weight,
Yeah,
and that's just where my body wanted to be, and it felt like it performed its best. And I played around with a little bit lighter, a little bit heavier. I might have been slightly stronger, but I lost, uh,
endurance
a
maybe.
disproportionate amount of cardio and flexibility. And then when I would get a little bit lighter, I'd lose a disproportionate amount of strength. So I just found like my body right about 235 to 245 was right where it wanted to be. So that was where I was at when I first started arm wrestling. That's where I was always at. And actually won two national championships at the 242 class. And at the time, that class got zero respect. Like I was so happy I won those two national, it was AAA nationals. Frank and Karen ran. It was the last one, and I won it, and I was in just crickets. So I was like, I need to do something to get on the map. I was young and hungry and coming up, and I felt like I tried to go to 220, and I did, and I lost that disproportionate amount of strength again. I felt awful, and I wasn't competing well. I was placing, but I was like, well, this is a strength sport. I want to see if getting big helps. So I don't know, about up to 265 pounds and jumped in the PAF national championship as a super heavyweight. And all the super heavyweights were like, what are you doing pulling supers? And then I destroyed everybody. I went undefeated both arms and won a super heavyweight PAF national championship, beat Sean Latimer and Carl Stanley and a bunch of big name guys. And
Yep.
next thing you know, I'm nationally ranked, and a lot of people started knowing who I was. So I was like, well, this is where I want to stay. And I stayed there and beat a lot of really good people at that weight. And it went well, and I broke my arm. And kind of as I came back, I was like, the 242 class is starting to gain respect again. I'm noticing it's got a lot of respect and a lot of good pullers. I think I'm just going to go back down there for health reasons, and then B, I competed really well there already. And so it just made sense, to be healthier, feel better, look better, and compete at a because I've been, pulling for 5 years with the top super heavyweights, and I did kind of get tired of giving up a foot in height and 150 pounds in weight, and if I put my
Levers.
arm on the table and they put their hands, another hand length higher. So
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I know what you mean. I'm actually a tall guy, and I got a 20-inch lever. So, but for 6'3.5", that's not it's not the longest lever in my class. Like I'm actually really short for a super, right? So, and I'm a
I
top.
deal with that.
I did jump in a super heavyweight class at 230 pounds like 2 weeks ago just for fun, and I won it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hutchings says, you know what? After 220, this it's really, yeah, there's a different, weight can make a difference, but the strength levels, I mean, he says it's only small percentage points after 220. For some reason, that's what Hutchings says. And I mean, he would know kind of, because really he
Yeah.
walks around what, 218, 220, that's what his walk around weight is. So, and I mean,
Mhm.
he's beating guys, Corey for one, he was what, 450?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
When
gotta be
when
some
I
truth to
beat
it.
Corey, I was 265 and he was probably 450. He was
Yeah,
pushing 200 pounds heavier and a
yeah,
head taller. The
exactly.
interesting thing about Corey is he's as thick as he is wide. That's
Yeah,
it's an odd like you see a lot of really big wide guys that are relatively thick, but he is abnormally thick from chest to back. He looks like he's a
a true
mountain.
gorilla.
Really, he's an abnormally thick guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking here. I don't think I've ever faced someone at the table with smaller elbow to fingertip or like leverage.
No, not that no. What are you? What is yours? 16?
No, no, no. I think it's the one arm is 17 and three quarters, and the other one's 18.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew it was short, but yeah, yeah. Oh, thanks for the chat. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing too, right? Even myself, I mean, I find that I don't, and I'm 20 inches. So I mean, but I mean, do you know what your elbow to fingertip is, Paul?
Don't Candy, if you're watching, bring in a tape measure. I'm kind of curious.
Well, because it does matter, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I've measured it before, but I don't remember off the top. I've had to turn
yeah,
in stat sheets before.
yeah.
Let
That's a
me.
big deal.
I remember somebody that I texted one of my stat sheets to. Let me see if I can pull that up. It might be on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I always look at that when I have an opponent. I'm looking. First thing I'm looking for is his elbow to fingertip, just so I know how to set up with him. Because if he's a long lever, he's going to dominate me in the lever. I'm going to set up a little different, right? And I'm going to try to take that advantage away from him. I hate finding out when you go at the table, all of a sudden he's 2 inches, 3 inches higher than you. You know what I mean? It's like shit.
No, it just said bicep and then forearm, but not the lower.
What's the
So
forearm?
they're both 18. They're the same size.
Oh, okay. So he's similar to you, Cody. You and
Yeah.
you know what? Cody actually reminds me of you, Paul. The way he pulls. Yeah. He's like almost like a Canadian twin to your pulling style.
Yeah, I'm
All
actually
right, let's see what it is.
my forearm's 17 and 3/4 and my biceps 18.
Yeah,
And I
that
was
mine were the same. Um, they were, when I was pulling super heavyweight, they were a little bigger, but let's see, 20 even.
yeah, so you got the same your arm's the same length as mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's 20 right on the button. Yeah. Yeah. So but I'm tall. Like for 6'3.5", you would think I would have a longer lever, right? But my upper arm is much longer, right? So I have a long upper arm and a shorter.
My upper arm's got to be short because I always had an abnormally short reach when I was boxing.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm probably going to have longer forearm, but a lot shorter, which
Yeah.
may help me in my hook. That might give me some. I've never really thought about it, but I've always had a freakish hook, and that maybe there's something to that having
Yeah.
a disproportionately long forearm compared to humerus, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I've noticed with me too. My humerus is a lot smaller
Well,
than
you know
my.
mine, Cody, but you know what? I still manage, and I'm worried. That's why I'm trying to do biceps, even though I got this elbow injury. My arms were just getting so jacked for nationals. I got to 19.5 on my bicep, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for 20-inch biceps. Fuck it. And then I ripped my elbow apart. Now I feel like a kindergartner. I can barely lift a 20-pound dumbbell, but I'm still doing it anyway. I don't care. It's gonna come back. So. Yeah, like
Now
it's
I know when I was 290, I'm down to 230. The most I ever weighed was 290. My arms were 20 and a half when I was 290, but almost all the weights I use on my workouts have stayed the same. I just think I had a lot more water, just a
mhm.
lot more water weight on me
Yeah,
overall. I was a lot
that's me
puffier.
too. That's me too. I hold a lot of water.
Well,
I
how
think
tall are you and how much do you weigh now?
230s then.
I'm 6 foot 230,
Okay.
See, I can
and
get down to 260, man. I know I can. I did it before though, and I got really weak and didn't like it. So yeah, I
you
wasn't as
know
strong, but
one thing that helped me a lot was getting up in the morning and doing like fasted cardio. And it
mm,
didn't even have to be hard cardio. I'd go walk my neighborhood or do 20 minutes on the elliptical, but do something every
mhm.
day for at least 20 to 45 minutes, and don't eat until lunch. And I would just drink water. And then
Yeah,
once we got to be about 12 or 1, just try to eat healthy the rest of the day and just eat a normal day and only drink water.
okay.
And that had
Yeah,
more to do with me losing weight than anything.
I
Uh,
need to try that because I'm
everyone,
5'7" and I'm weighing. I just weighed myself the other day. I was 225.
mhm. You're
Yeah,
dense as
it
though.
it just scorched. And the thing is, I'm 45 years old, and if my old ass can do it, anybody
Anybody
can.
can do
When
it.
you get
Yeah.
older, it gets way harder. But I figured out fasting. You don't. I did a lot of research. So I was afraid of losing strength. You don't start losing strength until about the 16-hour mark. So you can fast a pretty good while every day and not lose strength and muscle. Uh, but just make sure you take in lots of protein when you do eat. So I try to start about 12 or 1 and cut it off about. Now that I'm maintaining, I'm a little bit more lax about it. But when I was trying to lose weight, I was really strict about it. I'd cut it off about 6 or 7. So I'd have about a 6-hour window every day to eat. And it was mostly protein and a little bit of healthy carbs and healthy fats.
See, I got it. That's what I when I fasted, I lost a lot of weight. But like I said, I felt like I did for some reason I got weaker. But it could have been because I did it so quick. I think it was like 2 months. I just dropped all the weight, and then I felt really weak. I think if I did it slower and just, gradually lost the weight, not so dramatically, I might. Or if I would have just kept it, I would have eventually the strength would have came back too. I don't know. because I ended up giving up on it and let myself get heavy again. So
And I kept lifting. I made sure when I was I stayed on my same weight training program and tried as hard as I could to keep using all the same weights and reps. And I stayed relatively the same as I was. I will admit I'm a little weaker than I was 60 pounds ago, but it's not much. And I think now that I've maintained this weight a little while, I'm pretty close to being back to where I was at my heaviest strength wise, but with not all the weight behind it.
yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes total sense. Yeah, they say a little walk. Even Devin, look at Devin. He walks everywhere all the time barefoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he loses.
Walking is a good way to. I think walking there might be something to that too because I've read a lot of stuff about walking is a good way to do cardio without burning muscle. If you're doing cardio and you can maintain a conversation with your breathing, that means you're in a good fat burning threshold where you're not burning muscle.
Yeah,
When you can't breathe and maintain a conversation, you're breathing too hard.
yeah.
You're in a muscle burning heart
Okay.
rate.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. Another, there's a guy here. He's been Canadian national champ many times. His name's Steph Haru. Really, really good arm wrestler. Small guy. Like I think he had the deadlift world record for 140 for 138 pounds or something. Small guy. But he says deadlifting attack. If you deadlift like for reps and like you don't have to worry about going really heavy, he says that attacks your central nervous system and it works, it burns fat on your whole body. And he said, and I was thinking about trying that too. And he said that that is another way to actually do cardio without doing cardio. So I never thought of that.
Yeah, I quit going real heavy on deadlifts, but I always do them. My so everybody's strength threshold is different, but I found to me 315 is fairly light, and I won't go over 315 on anything,
Yeah.
even though
You
I used to try to pump out 405 on this and pull 500 on this and stuff, but I'm still physically capable of it, but I want it three plates on each side, and I may up the reps, but as you get older, you got to learn, you got to make certain rules for yourself to avoid injury because you do
yeah,
get hurt easier, you know.
I'm finding out. Yeah.
And with deadlifts, I try it is a lot of the times I just do about 225 for a lot of reps. It's a great exercise that works a lot of very important muscles. And one reason a lot of people injure their backs is their aging is basically they don't ever use their back. And the first time they need to use it for something, they lean over and pick up a TV or something fairly heavy, and
Then boom.
they've got a bunch of old atrophied back muscles that sat in a chair for the last 10 years, and they rip something. Where if you do regular deadlifts, even with lighter weights, those muscles are conditioned and they can support a load of weight put on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so what's the future hold for Paul? You got any matches planned or where are you sitting right now?
Yeah. Well, I see. I think my next match will be in Connecticut against Justin Bear, Trapzilla.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be pulling him left. That's just an interesting match. He's called me out a few times. I get a lot of call outs,
Yeah.
and I, I take all the challengers that I can. If I took all of them, I'd be arm wrestling every week. But
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
it's crazy. I love arm wrestling, and I really am. I like the fight of it. I just enjoy the competition. But man, it's crazy. I get called out by somebody all the time, and
Well,
to
yeah,
me, it's an honor. It's an
it is.
honor to be known and somebody think enough of me to want me as an opponent. But I don't know. I just thought Justin make an interesting opponent. He trains up there with a lot of the Northeast guys. Seems like a pretty cool guy and
Yeah.
big, strong up and comer.
Well,
He was one of the call outs that definitely interested me. So
you feel he
uh,
deserved it. Yeah.
yeah. And so we're gonna bang it out. Going up and plus Connecticut sounds pretty cool too. I don't think I've ever been there. And so and then I got a rematch against Nathan McCollin in Arizona. Uh, that'll be another good one. And I have another opponent. right-handed um, when I'm pulling Nathan. I mean, when I'm pulling Justin Bear. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull that up right quick. He kind of got tacked onto it when I was going up there.
Yeah, yeah.
By any chance related to Robert Bear?
I wouldn't know, possibly,
I guess
but it's
Cody's pulling him. Yeah, Cody's pulling when August 30th, right, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Montana. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we started we're trying to get into the States too. We've been just recently, as of last year, we've been setting up these matches between like Alberta and Montana. But now we've done pretty good against Montana, so now we're gonna start venture. Isn't he from Idaho, Cody?
I think so, as far as I know.
Yeah, he's from Idaho. Yeah. And they're getting
James Clark is my right-handed opponent when I go up to Connecticut to pull.
okay.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
I know I went up to Ohio a few years ago and won that one. And somewhere in the overalls, I pulled James Clark. I was watching the video. I didn't realize we'd ever pulled, but I beat him in the overalls.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
guys I beat I don't know. And then, hey,
yeah.
yeah, you beat me. I'm like, I don't remember. You know, that's how these events work, right? You know, I can tell you,
Yeah, apparently he didn't forget me.
oh no,
That's a
no.
dangerous opponent. I may have made some type of impression on him, and he's out for blood. So
That's good.
yeah, yeah, that
That's
is
what
good. You
raises
know,
our level. Yeah,
yeah, it does.
it does. I mean, someone beats you. If someone beats you in a tournament, you're gonna remember them. You're gonna be like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I promise you, I do. If I don't, you know, I'm a good sport, but um, if you lose, the only person you blame is the person you see in the mirror. So I, I get down on myself. I figure out what I did wrong. I work out really hard to correct it, and that person is marked until I get them back,
Oh yeah,
however long it
exactly.
takes.
No, I'm the same way. I don't forget. Like what I don't forget. For some reason, when I get pinned by somebody, it just stays with me. Yeah, it does. It just stays with me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
fixate
and
on it.
Hmm.
yeah, it does. You know, when I'm down in the basement working out, you know, I'll be tired as hell about to quit.
Yeah.
And I'll think about losing a particular match or something. Boy, I wonder what he's doing right now. And I go right back in there and do a few more sets.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm the same way. I'm just
just out
yeah.
of pure just pure malice.
Yeah. 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 Well, that match with James Wall, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that was pretty epic. That was pretty epic.
That was a good one. That was a damn fight.
You
Um,
fought, yeah, you showed heart. You showed the heart. You got to show the heart on that one. So that was a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we both reached down deep. We both fought our ass off. You know, all I can say is I left it all on the table. I just, you know, I'm still a little bit raw about that false start on the second round. That
Yeah.
it pinched something in my arm. You know, I was still able to get another win after that, but
Yeah.
if it didn't feel the same after that either.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not going to accuse him of doing it on purpose, but
Mm.
I just wish that hadn't happened. I would have liked it been a real clean match, but
I remember it.
because
Yeah.
I think either way it would have been. I think either way it would have been razor close. I mean, but as close as it was, that possibly could have made the difference. You know, I even told him I want to run that one back, but I'm sure we'll meet again.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know, I even wanted him. I was hoping he'd jump in winter blast the next day because you know I basically laid in bed the whole night just thinking about that. I didn't sleep a wink hardly, and um, there's a few things that occurred to me. I was like, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm pulling winter blast. You know, while I'm up here, and I dominated. I went undefeated both arms in a
Yeah, I
really
know.
stacked class, and just because I thought, and as tired as my arm was from the day before, you saw the war. I beat a
Yeah.
bunch of top guys with that same arm just because I sat there and thought about some things and was real clear minded. You know, a lot
Yeah.
of these big matches like that, it is so hard to come in and be in front of a huge crowd where you're really amped up. You got your walkout music, and then you know, it's every man's dream. You know, when you're watching wrestling as a kid, to be that guy walking out there to the music and everybody's cheering for you, and but to stay in a perfect frame of mind where you're thinking extremely clear, and then you know, once you're in the middle of just a dog fight and you're breathing hard and it's tired, it's hard to. to make all the perfect decisions, and you can really look back on a match and pick yourself apart. Which I definitely did that night. I thought about a lot of things, but it did me some good because I was real clear minded the next day during the tournament and just dominated.
I've
If
seen
he had
that a
jumped in
few
the tournament
times
the
with
next day, I'm pretty sure I would have murked him.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Well, sometimes we beat ourselves too, right? I mean, we're our worst
Yeah,
enemies at times. I mean, people can be confident, they could be on top of, I mean, I've had days where I know I'm the strongest guy and I didn't win. And at the end of the day, I'm like, what the hell? Like I let the nerves get me, just I pull somebody that pins me, I have to pull them afterwards and they can't budge me from center. And I'm like, well, how did I lose to you? You know what I mean? So I think that's a big part of the game, right? Is controlling the nerves and being able to, put your training on the table, in the moment, right? And that's the hard part. I'm still learning. I still let the nerves kind of sometimes if I ramp, I have a hard time not ramping up too many times before my match too. Because I'll think about it and then the butterflies kick in and then the adrenaline, my heart's racing. I'm like, whoa, 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 settle down. And then I bring it down. And then all of a sudden I'll start thinking about it and I'll go up and down, up and down. You know what I'm saying? And then I get to the
yes, I
table and
do.
it's like
Yeah.
I already fucking fought 10 times. So that's how I feel, right? So,
I
yeah.
always find it's hard to pull a tournament immediately after a big super match because you got there, you
Yeah.
got sky high, you got everything right,
Hmm.
you pulled the match, you won. Then there's this massive adrenaline dump,
Dump.
and you're
Yeah.
just relaxed. All your training for the last couple months, you won, you feel great.
Yeah.
It's hard to get back there again for the tournament.
Yeah. The
You know,
central nervous
take
system.
a couple
That's,
hours. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I did that in Grand Prairie. I had a left and right hand super match back to back pretty much, and won both of them. But I had some wars the first round of each one, and
Hmm.
then waited till the tournament, and then they did left hand first, and my left just got put out of there real fast. My left's my better arm, but then after that, my adrenaline had kind of like sparked back up for when they did right, and then I came second.
Yeah. 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 No, it happens,
it's
man.
crazy.
Adrenaline.
It's such a mental game.
Yeah.
A problem I've been struggling with lately is overthinking shit.
Yeah.
I'll get up to the table and know exactly what I need to do to beat somebody, and last second I'll change it
Yep.
and do some dumb shit because I overthought it. I'm like, why did I do that? I already knew what I needed to do, and I second guessed myself and changed my mind
Yeah.
literally when I walked up to the table. Or what I'm doing is working and we slip or he elbow fouls, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I'm going to do this because it felt this way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. I've got to quit overthinking shit
Yeah.
too. I just need to have my game plan
And stick to it.
pretty well thought out and execute, and don't change it when I walk up to the table.
Yep. I did it. I lost to a guy. I was crushing him in practice. And he knew it. He didn't like me crushing him, and he's a good puller too, like really good. And I think he would did he win nationals? He won. He beat Joe from the left and got a national championship, didn't he? Isn't that where
Um,
was that provincials? Hugh.
yeah, no, that's not a nationals. I
It
think
was
maybe
provincials.
provincials.
Yeah, it might have been it was a provincial. Okay. But anyway, sure enough, I get a match with him and I overthought it. And I was too worried about because he's got like five different setups, five different hits, and he's really good puller. And I was too worried about what he was going to do and never really thought about and I forgot about what I do well. And I got to the table and he beat me. Yeah. So, it's yeah, it's one of those things. I think that's where we level up though, like we get to the point where we know how to arm wrestle. We got the strength. We got the experience. We've had the matches. Now we level up on the little things like setup, mind games, not getting in our head. You know what I mean? Learning to control our emotions. I think those are the things that can take you from high pro to elite are those things. You've already done the work to beat the pro, to win your brackets in a tournament and this and that. But when you get to that next level, it's all those little things that that's when you get those levels afterwards. It's you can only get so strong, right? And you can
Mhm.
only arm wrestle so much, but there's other factors that make us elite. And I mean, I'm not there, but I've noticed it's just little things like just little things in the setup that I've picked up now. Little things like, and I've been moving up levels, but it has nothing to do with my strength. I'm the same strength I was then, like a year ago. But it's these little things that have been leveling me up, right? So I think, yeah, those are the important things, right? So, but yeah, I suggest anybody who haven't seen it, watch that match with James Wall. Yeah, it did look like he got tweaked. That false start sucked. That happened to me at Nationals, and they gave the guy the win, and it was like so early. I couldn't even believe it. I was so pissed off. And he was a flop presser. So he was 300 something pounds flop pressing right down on my arm. And he went on the R, right? Like, I understand if you're on a ready go, you want to get off a little early, go on the Y, like on the end of ready. But he flew on the R, and then they said winner. I was like, and my arm, my elbow at this point was already fucked. So next match, yeah, I was going for the win and ripped my elbow apart. So yeah,
James Wall went on the R and rotate.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We were like this, and my arm was relaxed, and Sean had both of our hands. And he's like, rotate,
yeah. I
rotate,
know.
rotate, rotate. And then he just fucking fired.
Like
And my
retarded.
arm, the way he fired, he like jammed into
Jammed
me
you.
and down
Yep.
into the table with it. And it was the weirdest pain. Like normally, if you feel something's in the front of your arm, this one, it was like the very middle of my elbow, all the way up the middle of my tricep, up into the back of my shoulder, just like
Just
you lit
sharp
a,
pain, shooting pain.
yeah, like a burning pain, real bad burning pain. I never felt anything like that.
Oh wow. Hey Dakota.
Hey, what's up? You
Hey,
can hear
this
me
is
good?
our other co-host, Paul. This is Paul Passmore,
Hey,
Dakota.
Paul, I met you at the Challenger Series in
Yeah,
Florida. Watched you pull that Ahmed there.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, yeah, good to
Yeah.
see you again, man.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
as well. You as
that was
well.
a fun day.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a really good day. Yeah.
That was definitely probably my best memory in arm wrestling so far. When I got the win, it was a bit of a grudge match, a lot of trash talking. We got both really into that one, and on the big stage with Travis and Devin, and then I got to have my whole family up there afterwards, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I've seen that. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that match. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So obviously you still have ambitions and possibly could have openings for East versus West, right? I mean,
Possibly.
yeah. Oh yeah, damn right you do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It gets a little political there,
It does. It does.
but the less involved Ingen is, the better my chances are.
No, it's true.
I,
It's
I,
true.
for some reason, I don't think he cares too much for me. And anyway,
Either way,
when I won, I said some stuff about how the the American pullers did so well
yeah. When it was in America, yeah.
because everybody traveled to us and we weren't the ones having to fly halfway across the
It's
world.
true.
And
It's true. I've been saying it. I've been saying it. I said, wait until the East have to come to the West. I said, you're going to see. Listen, they're still going to do good because the people in the East are still amazing pullers, but they get to feel the adaptation to our climate and traveling,
Mhm.
right? So, and you've seen it. The proof's in the pudding, right? Like we tend to
Yeah,
do better when the shoe's on the other foot, right?
yeah, we fairly well dominated. We about ran the whole gambit. One of the few matches we lost, one of our guys was kind of screwing around too much and kind of beat himself,
Hmm.
which was refreshing. And I was really proud. We won like that and we did so well. But I don't think some of the comments I made. I've always been one to speak my mind, and
And you should, and
I'm
you
definitely,
should. It's okay.
I'm not an asshole, but I'll speak my mind, and I'll say whatever I got to say in the nicest way. But I was really proud and still am, and I guess that rubs some people wrong.
Well, you know what? People that watch your matches love you. So really that's all that matters. Because guess what? The pullers and the fans, promoters, you're gonna have new promoters. I've already in the short time I've been pulling, I've seen many promotions already come and go. What really matters is the community. Because you know what?
Yes,
That's who makes if East versus West succeeds, it's the community that will decide that, right? So
yeah,
it's I would just be yourself always and say what's on your mind because that's all you got, right? It's all we got is
yeah.
our word and our balls and our and that's it. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna get it out now. Good timing. You made me think of it. So Henry, what's his last name? Dakota, do you know it?
Henry,
Nuring,
yeah,
Nuring.
something like that.
Anyway, good guy. Guess what, Henry? You're in my good books now, buddy. You're fully paid up. We straightened it all out today, and Henry did pay it up, and he actually, we agreed that he would pay the money, the $100 to a charitable donation of my choice. So I picked the good cause, and Henry sent the $100 and then sent me a receipt showing that he donated $100 to my cause.
The Brian's Wallet charity.
No, it wasn't. It
No,
wasn't.
I'm kidding.
No.
I'm
But
kidding.
now he wants to bet me again, but he wants 3-1 odds. So I'm like, I don't know. He wants to bet
Ooh,
against
Matt and
Matt.
Philip.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I said, listen, listen. I 2-1 odds. I'll do 2-1 odds.
that's
Who's
fair.
Matt pulling again?
Philip Larson.
Philip Larson, yeah, yeah. He's that big Swedish guy with the beard.
Nah,
Yeah,
I
but
think it's
Okay.
gonna be more one-sided than people think.
I think
Yeah.
Matt's gonna destroy Philip. Like,
Is it right hand?
it's right hand, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that match, Paul? I know you've pulled Matt after he pulled Artem, and I don't know if you pulled Philip ever.
I would never bet against Matt Mask ever. Yeah, Matt's just that guy. He's a great puller. Just about anybody you put on the table, I'm gonna be pulling for Matt. And there's a few people, obviously, but I would
Yeah.
also give the advantage to Matt. He's a great puller, and he's just one of those guys. He's got a lot of dog in him. He's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Even if you kind of should beat him on paper, he's one of those guys that can still figure out how to beat people he shouldn't. He does it all the time.
No, true enough. I
You know,
completely agree.
Yeah, I love pulling him. We both got a lot of dog in us, and I like getting on there and banging with him. And
Yeah.
I've got some angles that are a little tough for him. The way everybody's put together, just because somebody can beat me doesn't mean I can't beat somebody they can't beat. The way you're built
Yeah.
can maybe the
Styles
way I'm
matter.
built is it gives Matt a little bit more trouble than the average guy.
Yeah.
But anytime we get on the table, it's usually fireworks. It's usually good matches.
Yeah. 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 No, Matt. I mean, Matt's our role model. He's kind of like he's our club. He's the face of our
Yeah.
club, Red Deer. But I mean, like we have such a good club, and Matt knows so. I mean, yeah, like he's just good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Matt, right? Like, yeah, I guess some people wouldn't understand because they're not in our club, but yeah, Matt it definitely benefits all of us that we have Matt, so
Yeah. Here's one thing about Matt. Everybody knows it. If you put that man on the table, you're going to see fireworks.
yeah,
You're going to see a bloody brawl every time. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be entertaining.
yeah,
And that's what people like to see. They like he's a fighter, and that's kind of how I feel I pull.
yeah,
Also, you put me on that table, no matter who you put me on there against, I'm going to give you everything I got, and
yeah,
I'm going to make it a bloody brawl. If I lose, we're both going to walk off bleeding. It's going to be a fight. I won't quit. If I'm down 2-0, I've won several matches being down 2-0 and come back and win 3-2. Just
yeah,
'cause I have no quitting sense. It was the same way back when I used to fight. No matter what was happening, until that last bell rang, I was giving it everything I had. There's been some fights for us, getting the hell beat out of me, but I kept fighting back so damn hard that they gave out and got tired, and I came back and won and stuff.
yeah. Well, and those are those matches. People say, I'd much rather just flash. You see some guys they just want to just end it quickly, run away. But it's those battles that just lasts forever in your mind. You know what I mean? And it's like, especially when you do pull something off or it took every ounce of your being to win. Those ones, I mean, you never forget those matches, right? They just stick with you. And I think that's where the love of arm wrestling comes, is those moments, right? Those moments where you're just, it's everything, everything you put in, your heart, your soul, you're hurting, you're saying, I don't care if my arm fucking breaks. I don't give a shit. And then at the end of it, I mean, it's definitely the endorphins and I don't think there's anything better. And I think that's when you get to feel that, that is what's you're done. Once you feel that bug, you're gonna love arm wrestling for the rest of your life. I really do think.
I find another good one is when, say, for years, one guy, you feel like you're close, but he's always
Yeah,
beating you,
yeah,
and then you finally get the win on him.
yeah, yeah. You had that recently. Yeah,
Yeah, yep,
Those are,
exactly.
yeah.
That's the sweetest win ever. I agree. When you just had your sights set on this guy forever, and you've always looked up to him. Somebody said one time when your heroes become your rivals is when you
yeah.
really made it.
It's true. It's true. And we all have those stories, right? I mean, I had the same story. I had a guy named Byron, just freakishly strong. His style was always bad for my style. And for some reason, I could never beat him ever. And we had a super match the one year at Christmas, and yeah, he beat. I mean, I gave him something, but he beat me pretty good, right? And then the Mike Schaff, he's been in the chat. He lined it up for another super match the next Christmas. It was a Christmas party event that we kept doing. So I got to have another super match with him. Well, I trained my ass off and I just said to myself, Brian, I'm not going to get in my head. And I managed to beat him in a super match. And then yeah, it was definitely a feeling of accomplishment for sure. Yeah. And Cody did it with Jared recently. Yeah, Jared always beat Cody, no matter what. So Jared's feeling strong. He came to practice today. So we were pulling and Jared felt strong. So I couldn't really pull right. I could just put blood in my arm. Basically, I only got 20 pounds of side pressure in me. But yeah, I did 20. I did 14 a few days ago and I did 20 today. So I'm like, it's gonna slowly come back. It hurt like hell, but I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna get it.
I'm waiting for Jared to come back and say he wants that back.
He will. He will. He will. And he's coming to the dungeon now. So,
Yeah,
know
well,
what
and that's
happens.
good. That's another good part of it. You lit a fire under his ass. Now
Yeah, yeah,
he's trying to get better to get you, and
yeah,
it's really hard to see. You had to make all the adjustments to beat him. Now you know how to beat him. Now he's making adjustments to beat you, and you're at a little bit of a disadvantage because what you did worked, and it wouldn't be that smart to make an adjustment until he can prove that he can stop what you did to stop him. It's a big tricky thing staying ahead of a guy that's really good that's close to you.
yeah, yeah.
I've got some people that I go back and forth with. Every few tournaments, one of us will beat the other one, and then all of a sudden we'll flip and the other one will start winning a few tournaments, and it's just making constant adjustments, and we're right there on each other's heels the whole time. But the whole time we're both getting a little bit better. We can't stay in any type of a comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think, well, all three of us here and four of us have all made huge strides, right? Dakota, well, he's made big strides too in the last 18 months. He's been on a tear. So few setbacks, but I think those setbacks make us stronger too, right? So yeah, yeah. And
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
I've got
That's part of it, right? Just getting set back, realizing what you need to work on. You
yeah.
can't win without a loss sometimes, right? So
Well, yeah, and you need a loss to know you need to get better or what to work on. It's the losses are really important. It's the
I'm
loss
actually curious.
point of. Hmm?
I want to ask everybody here.
Hmm.
So far in your career of arm wrestling, what would you say is your greatest achievement?
well, I could say this now, whether it's in it's in practice or in a match. I have been able to pin John Brzezinski. I have in a practice, obviously,
Oh,
but it was fresh on fresh in the practice first match. I have got pins on Todd Hutchings, Ron Bass, Devin Larrett. Um, the fact that and none of those guys play around with your ass in practice. If you get a pin on them, it's a good one.
mhm.
Um, you know, I don't know, maybe beating Matt Mask in a real super match that wasn't practice is a big one. Beating Corey West was a big one. Winning that East versus West against Alt Med. There's a lot of highlights, but just like these guys are my heroes too. You know, when I say the name John Brezink and Devin and Matt Mask and Ron, I'm talking about my heroes, and these are guys that I've been able to put those oak tree arms down against their will under some form of a arm wrestling setting. Is It feels pretty good. There's not many people that can name all those people and say they've pinned them in any circumstance.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. That's a crazy resume to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably say mine is saving Clifton.
Yes,
Clifton.
yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Should I say it? I think it's
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, mine's probably saving Clifton Erickson's career after it was in shambles. Really brought him back to where he needed to be after that Declan loss. He was just scattered all over the place. So I thought I'd go beat Declan for him, show him how to do it. And I think he's on a good track now. So
Clifton.
I'm really happy for him actually.
Well, Clifton Erickson, he's a good friend of ours and to the channel. He's been training like a beast. He really started his run when he beat Jamie Sheldon. Yes, he did lose to John Therian, but that match was a lot closer than people realize. And now Clifton is pulling one of our like really good pullers, Victor Beloff. And that's going to be a MAC 4 August 30th. And that's going to be a crazy match. Yeah.
Having the opportunity to pull on East West, having the opportunity to pull on Knuckles Up and Arm Gods, three of the bigger promotions was a whole lot of fun too. That it was amazing. However the rest of my arm wrestling career goes, I can say I've had a hell of a fun time and had a lot of good times and memories doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing too, just the friends. Like some of my best friends in the world are from arm wrestling. And I wouldn't even have them if I didn't ever arm wrestled, right? So
right.
Yeah, arm wrestling's a special sport. I don't think that there's a sport that is quite like arm wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? Just I've
You
been
could be best friends off the table and go to war on the table, and when you walk back off, your best friends again. It's a lot different than back when I used to fight. It was not that way,
No. I mean, like, yeah, we could beat each other up on the table, but as soon as I grip up with you, you're my friend for life. You know what I mean? Like it's that we've connected. You know what I mean?
I've only met maybe 2 or 3 just people I didn't like since I've been in the sport out of the
there's always
thousands I've met.
Yeah,
there's occasional 1 in 100 asshole, but for the most part, it's a really good group of people.
I agree, and that's why I get so sensitive to the drama. I almost seem like I'm a drama queen in my own sense because I talk so damn much about drama. But it's just because I hate it. You know what I mean? I don't like the drama, so I try to kibosh it. And this whole East versus West drama. The best thing I can say to everybody, because I've been following it and everything. You know what? Let's just keep supporting it. Let's keep, we decide whether East versus West is successful, not Ingen or, if anybody wants to put, a bad light on it, well, really, you got to think about why they would want to do that. And why would you want to follow that? Because anything that kind of pisses on arm wrestling is kind of an enemy of the sport in my mind. So I would recommend when you hear that kind of negativity, you block it out. That's all, so.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mama used to say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's one thing. I keep my mouth shut a lot. There's a lot of times I'll have some negative things to say, and I just don't say anything. It never ends well. If I've got a problem with somebody, which happens occasionally, I try really hard to get face to face with that person and talk to them man to man.
Yeah.
Not over the computer or the phone. Try to find them somewhere at a tournament or practice or something and talk it out that way. I avoid the drama because it's harder to really hash something out behind a keyboard or over the phone too.
It is.
You're standing there, 2 foot from each other. You find both people are a lot more respectful, and there's nobody else around listening. You can hash out pretty much anything a whole lot easier.
Well, it's hard when you're on. So like I've had my share of drama already. So like even with Henry, we had a little drama there. But at the same time, I'm a big man. I'm a big boy. I can admit, you know, like I don't want to, drag something out just to be spiteful either and try to ruin him or, anything like that. We were able to talk today and he kind of seen finally that, yes, okay, I did bet you, Brian. You know what I mean? And then he made good on it. So I want to make sure that's why I brought that up because I was pretty harsh. I can be pretty harsh. Like I'm one of those guys, I'll give you everything I got to help you. But when you fuck me, I'm also that guy that's going to make your life fucking miserable. And I don't know why I'm that way,
Mm.
but I've always been that way. It's like if you do good by me, I will make sure I walk to the end of earth with you. But if you fuck me in some way, I promise you, they'll be there. I'm gonna fuck you some. I don't know why. It's just who I am. But
I mean, fair enough.
yeah,
Everybody's some way there.
yeah.
Brian, I hate to cut you off, but I got my mile of walking in. I got to get my workout in before I head home.
Oh, okay.
Paul, it was nice chatting with you. It was good seeing
Dakota,
you.
it's a
I'm
pleasure,
sure I'll
man.
see you
Yeah,
around. Cody,
absolutely.
Brian,
Yeah,
you guys take
always,
care.
buddy.
And
Yeah.
everybody have a good night. All right.
Okay,
Hey,
brother.
Bye.
whenever you get tired, knock out 2 more hard sets for me.
Yes.
Sounds good. I'll do that
All
tonight.
right.
Thank you so
And
much, and you
whatever
have a
you
good
would
one.
have quit, knock out 2 more. Say this is for Paul.
All right. I'll do it for Paul tonight. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Nice. See you,
Absolutely,
brother.
man.
Yeah, no, he's our co-host. He's a pharmacist. I think he just officially got his pharmacist license. So
Oh, that's cool. Good
yeah,
I
guy
thought
to
he was
know.
a pharmacy tech.
oh, well, I think that's what he was. Didn't he just get his full-fledged license or full-fledged thing? He just had some test last week at college. I don't know what.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot
That's
to ask.
great.
Yeah.
Full-fledged drug dealer now.
Oh, Drew called me
Yeah.
Brian Harsh Parliament. The harsh parliament. Yeah. I can be. But
You know what?
mm,
I have to say with the money thing, it was good to bring it up on the podcast because it put it out there and made him be, a man of his word eventually.
true. And the people in the chat, some of the people in the chat called him out on his show and stuff. And that's when he said,
Yeah.
how can we fix this? And he got a hold of me, right? Kind of. So that was good. That was
So
good.
what? Well, if you don't mind me asking, this came up several times. I don't know anything about it. So what's the
Yeah.
backstory?
I'll give you a backstory
You,
now.
you, you,
Yeah.
you got me curious now.
Yeah. Well, this Henry guy, he does a good show. Like he was doing the drama for when he had Dexter on his thing when all that shit was going down with East versus West. And I was on Michael Monster Todd's chat. I was just in his chat because sometimes I watch arm wrestling all the time. And I was talking about Matt and I gave him a super chat and shit. And then I said, Matt's going to destroy Aracely. You watch. You guys are counting him out. He's going to figure it out. I said something. And then Henry came in and said, I'll bet you $100 Aracely rips Matt's arm off or something. And I said, I'll take you up on that bet. Right. And then Rebecca says, Henry, I'm Neil's Index Finger is my troll name on YouTube, but I just stick with it, right? But anyway, she goes, Neil's Index Finger says, I'll take you on that bet, Henry. And like Rebecca confirmed it. And then I said, Henry, do you confirm the bet? So it's on. I need to hear you say I confirm. And then he said, yes. And I'm like, okay. And about 10 minutes later, I left the live because I'm not sitting there for 2 hours. Well, I didn't have time. It was during the day. I was working and shit. And I guess 25 minutes later, he said something about he wanted me to message him so he knew who to pay or whatever. But I wasn't in the stream anymore, right? But Matt was down 2-0 to Aracely. I started already looking up Henry on Instagram because I wanted to ask for his payment info because I thought maybe I'm going to lose. I'm like, oh, there's a chance Matt's going to lose here. You know what I mean? But Matt
Yeah.
ended up turning it around. He came back 1-3-2, right? So then I was like, I went on Henry's thing. He was doing a live, and I said to Henry, I said, "Oh, you gonna pay me that $100?" And he goes, "I told you to message me. You didn't. I ain't paying you shit. Go fuck yourself," or something like that. And I was like, "Whoa, that was harsh." You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? I got you to confirm. I haven't. And you know what? To say something 20 minutes later, like maybe did you not think I didn't answer you because I wasn't in the chat anymore, so I didn't see you say to message you or something. Like it's a condition after the confirmation to me. I was like, you already confirmed, yes. So I didn't need to stick around and wait for, conditions on the bet, right? So But anyway, so he stuck to his guns, and then the chat started bugging him a bit, and he was getting harassed on his channel. So then finally he reached out to me. He goes, "So listen, it might be a misunderstanding. What do you want done?" I said, "Listen, I said a whole spiel, but I just said basically, in my mind, I won the bet. I said, I don't need your $100. I said, whatever you decide is on you." So he got back to me. He goes, "How about I make a charitable donation to something that you support, like a cause?" And I said, "You know what? That would be payment in full." So I ended up sending him a link, and he ended up paying $100 to it, and we're paid and we're good now. So yeah, so that was the whole thing in a nutshell. Anyway, I mean,
When
there was more
I
words
don't,
said and
I
shit.
rarely gamble. I rarely gamble.
I usually
And
don't offer. I don't usually threaten to bet you, but
yeah,
if you say to me, "I bet you," I'm one of those guys that'll be like, "Sure, let's fucking do it. Here, put your
but
money."
if I owe you money, it bothers me till I pay
Yeah,
you.
I'm the
Like,
same way. I'm the
you know,
same way.
I lost a bet a while back, and I tracked the guy down the second the match was over. I was like, "Hey, all right, I owe you this. We talked about it. How can I pay you? Let's make this right. Let's do it right now." You know, that's how I'm wired. I literally can't sleep until I pay my debts. You know, I'm one of those. Before I do anything else, I make sure my bills are paid, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
if we got money left over, but I pay what I owe.
yeah. No,
That's one
exactly.
reason I don't like gambling
Well,
because it
see, I'm
bothers
the
me. So
same way. I'm the
yeah,
same way. So people were wondering why I was so butthurt over it. Well, I'm like, well, because I couldn't fucking sleep. If I owed you money and lost a bet, it would bug me physically. It would physically give
Mhm.
me trauma if I owed you that money. And you know what I mean? I would have to pay it. So when he was so like, go screw yourself, it made me just go, whoa, what? You know what I mean? Like I think that's why. I think I have a hard time, like, because I really want to be like, if I treat you a certain way and I give you respect, I really demand the same back. And
Mhm.
I'm one of those guys. I had a hard time when I was a child because I would give, give, give. And then sometimes when I was disrespected, I didn't know how to handle it. And I would do stupid shit like beat people up or, you know what I mean? I'd be called spaz because I would lose my shit. But it was just the way I was, right? It was like, listen, I'm giving you this much respect. I kind of demand the same respect back. And that's how I live, right? Whether it's right or
Yeah,
wrong, it's just me though. Yeah.
that's how my temper. I'm actually really calm all the
Yeah.
time.
Me too.
But when I do, and it takes a lot to get. Now, when I was younger, it was a little different. But I've got it extremely. You got to really try. You got to be like, I'm gonna piss Paul off. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go way out of my way and do something
Let's be disrespectful.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you can do it if you try hard enough. But the only thing, my temper and when I get really mad, it don't. I don't fall out like most people. I just go to a really dark place. I make a
Mhm.
decision. All right, I'm
Me
gonna
too.
fucking really hurt you.
Yeah,
And
me too.
but my temper goes from like calm to prison. Like
Yeah.
there's no middle gears. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right. And it's not even that I get mad. I'm like, all right, this person deserves what I'm going to do to them. I'm not going to feel one bit bad about it. I've used
Exactly.
before I get there. I've thoroughly warned them. I'm like, listen, if you don't stop, I'm going to hurt you really bad, or I might
Yeah.
kill you. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, I know what you mean. I know what
just
you mean.
stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's the good guys that are like that, believe it or not. It's just the way it is, right? Like, yeah, I have a hard time with disrespect. I don't mind joking around, and you can like Cody's my buddy. He could fuck with me. You can joke around. You can do whatever, right?
yeah.
But
Like if we're joking, you can
yeah,
say there's nothing you can't say to me if we're joking. Some of my best friends, if you didn't
yeah,
know we were best friends and you heard some of the shit we said to each
yeah,
other, you'd be
yeah.
like, "Oh
You're
my
like, what
god,
the fuck? Yeah, yeah, exactly.
that was brutal."
Yeah, yeah. But that's just it, right? Friends will be friends. We'll poke the bear. We'll see what try to get you riled up. But that's different than disrespecting too, right? Like
Yeah.
when someone
Yeah.
gets disrespectful, I have a hard time with it. So, and talking about the 98, you know what? So I'll let you know a little bit what we're planning. We're not starting anything till 2026. We're going to schedule 4 events and basically go all out on 4 events 2026, and we'll be bringing the Aries system. There is one outfit here in Canada using it already that have started using it, but we want to get our guys here. The reason I thought the 98 was such a good idea, because we were going to start a league on our anyway. The reason we want to do it is we want more connection between Canada and the US. I want a true North American, eventually I want a true North American team, you know what I mean, where we're all together, and the world knows the pullers here in Canada. And another thing is the Armed Gods connection. Like if the guys here and there and we all start getting noticed and they get even opportunities at Armed Gods, you know what? That's flight. That's $500 American. That's being looked after. That's getting a cool match in a cool environment. I want our guys here to get that opportunity. The only reason a lot of guys here you don't know them is because they don't really have, because a lot of them were broke asses, and they don't really have, they have families and everything. They want to be seen, but you know that you have to invest in yourself and promote yourself. Well, I'm going to do my best to promote the guys here, and we're going to start a league that helps the guys shine. And you guys down there get to know us, and Ireland can get to know us. And now we got good connections with Mac. We're good friends with Ian Carnegie. So now there's doors opening. Now there's Armed Gods, there's Mac, there's what I mean? That's kind of, was the whole idea with us joining with the 98, was just to help bring the community more together, so.
Yeah, Mac is one of my
And you
short
know what?
list.
Go
Mac is
ahead.
on my short list. I definitely am looking to compete in Mac. I've talked to Ian a few times.
Oh yeah,
We're
he's
not far
interested
from
in you.
working something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ian thinks highly. I've talked to him about you. So we talk a lot, me and Ian. Ian's a really good person, actually. He's got a
He
big heart.
really is. I
Yeah.
think a lot of him. I don't think I haven't met him in person, but we've talked quite a few times. He's a top notch fella.
He is, and he's genuine. Like
Mhm.
believe it or not, he's so genuine. Like this jersey. Yeah, I didn't pay. He sent me this. Yeah, him and JJ Jackson. JJ's his partner, and
Well,
uh, and they sent me a jersey. So
I've always been interested,
But what
even if he is. I've always been interested in a match with him because he's kind of an inside guy. I love
yeah.
pulling inside guys. Maybe me and him could line something up in Mac. I wouldn't mind being the smaller guy I normally am, but that'd be a fun match. I've always thought, just out of respect in his style, I love a good hook match with somebody who's not afraid to just go inside and bang, and
yeah,
that being their primary style too. I've always thought
yeah.
that'd be just
Yeah, I
a
think you'd be
fun
good on a
match.
Mac table.
Yeah,
Have you checked out the Mac table yet? Yeah, you haven't got to pull on one.
I know exactly what one is, but I've never put my elbow on one.
Yeah. Well, I think it is, like, and I'm not just trying to hype it up for Ian or promote it for Ian, even though I would do that for him. I think that super matches, the way of the future, I think will be a Mac table. And it's not even dissing the normal tables. Like I have a WAF table right beside me, and I actually think in tournaments, I actually still prefer WAF tables in tournaments. But I think the Mac table in super matches, I think honestly, it is the way of the future. You're gonna have banger matches. It's so fair. The rules are so fair. Like there's so much fairness in Mac. Like when you check it out and you go over everything and then you watch it, you can't get more fair. Like, it might seem like it favors one more than the other, but it doesn't. Now you got 10 inches of pad. You know what I mean? Like, and elbow fouls, well, small bobbles aren't going to get called ever on a Mac table, right? So
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
So
I think
what I was saying about earlier,
yeah,
in being in the States and being in like Ontario, Quebec, and that area of Canada,
yeah,
compared to the guys up here in northern Canada,
yeah,
it's so much easier to get noticed and get your name out there, and
yeah.
there's just more opportunities.
No, I agree. But then that's why you got to make the opportunities, right? Like we can make all the excuses we want, but you got to go get it. You did. What'd you do? You messaged Tim Lewis, the gatekeeper, right? Cody Mighty Mouse here wants to pull Tim Lewis. I said that's a perfect match. Tim's just a veteran. He's a diesel strong dude, and he's perfect. And you guys pull like Cody's not the quickest guy in the world either, but he's so strong, right? Him and Tim Lewis will be a banger match. And Tim
I'd
said
like to see
yes.
it.
Yeah, Tim said yes. So
Tim rarely says no.
no, I know, and he's such a good guy that way. I know.
I think he
It's
may
just
have some
figuring
type
out.
of world record for super matches.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, he's a genuine nice guy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he has one coming up here in Mac.
Yes, he does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's he pulling again? I seen the poster
I
just the
can't
other day.
remember. Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
It's not Jamie, right? Staken. I don't know. I forget who it is. But yeah, I think Tim. Yeah, he does. He has a Mac. I think is that going to be Mac 4, Cody?
Yeah, I think so. I think it said Mac
Yeah,
4.
yeah, yeah. See, that's another thing. Ian just did a Challenger Series type deal. He did 77 super matches in one day,
Oh wow, that's a long day. How long did it take?
like 6 hours. It wasn't that long because the Mac is fast, man. Like it's fast. He banged off 34 super matches at Jody's event in 2.5 hours. So
It's because he's refining. They're refining it more and
yeah, it's
more.
getting
Like when we did our live commentary,
yeah, yeah.
that was
That
a
was
long day.
long. That was long. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. But yeah, but that was a lot of interruptions, a lot of pauses, a lot of
Yeah.
yeah. They've gotten much better, and they got a cool.
There's-
They're I'm going to be talking to them too. They have a really good pay-per-view outlet. So Matthias is a business partner of theirs. He runs a thing called PremStream. It's the perfect pay-per-view thing, and anybody can use it. And it's like you can take your event, have your production, and run it through PremStream. Now you can make all your super match events pay-per-view. And it's really simple. And I don't even know what he's not even charging much for it. It'd be like a 1% thing or something. I don't even think I can't speak for him, but I know that
Do they have an app now?
what's that?
Do they have an app yet?
PremStream?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, they just run it through. They have a prem. You can. I don't know yet. No. You have to talk to him to use PremStream for sure. But I mean, still, like, there's not a lot of pay-per-view services out there. If you want to do a pay-per-view, it's not that easy just to organize. But this year, you just talk to Matthias. Now we do a 98 event, right? You have your tournament Saturday. Well, Friday night, you can run an actual pay-per-view event on the super matches. And you don't have to, you can put any, you can be $2 fucking, it doesn't have to be a lot, right? Everyone thinks that, the pay-per-view's gotta be $20 or something. They don't. They could be $6.99 or something. And you can watch some good super matches, right? So anyway, that's something that we're gonna maybe capitalize on and actually try to have like so when me and the Through the Fingers, Zach and Dakota, we run the event Friday night, we're gonna have 10 super matches, and it might be like a $5 pay-per-view or something. But I mean, it opens doors for extra revenue and it also kind of builds the sport, right? Because now you got every weekend, if you had, let's say 98, we got 6 franchisees. We're running, let's say you got a 98 tournament every 2 weeks. Well, you can have a pay-per-view every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And then the people within the 98 are going to get more noticed, right? They get more eyes on them. I think the pay-per-view thing, it's not even just about making money. It's just about kind of hyping something up, having the matches, and just getting people to want to watch it and getting eyes on the pullers, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you have to get rich off it.
Yeah, if
And you
you're
know
arm
what?
wrestling for the money, it's definitely you're in it for the reason.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But definitely, if you want to, from the time I started up, I've been making wrong.
Oh, your audio went to shit, Paul.
I've spoken to. Not trying to talk a little loud. If you're in arm wrestling for the money, it's that you're in there for the wrong reasons. I've made a little money
Yeah.
over the last few years with it, but if
Yeah.
you compare it from start to finish, I've definitely lost money.
Oh, yeah. 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 If you're in it to get rich, you're in the wrong business. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to
I
do
do
it.
it for the love of the sport. And somebody made a post a week ago, they're like, there's certain guys like Paul Passmore, Josh Ellerton, Jerome Loud, Ron Bath. They just pull local tournaments, and they're always ranked in the top five in the country in their weight class, and they're not afraid to put their rank on the
Yeah.
line on a regular basis, pulling.
Yeah.
And that's refreshing. A lot of people, they get a certain rank and they just hide and
Yeah.
protect it. And
That's,
that's not what I'm in it for either. Honestly, I'm in this sport for the fight. I like to fight, and just line me up and let me fight. The better you are, the more I want to pull you. And if you beat me, the more I want to pull you again.
yeah.
It's just I do it for the competition, and honestly, I've always had a sport. I've always had something to do.
Yeah.
And if I don't have something to train for, I don't train.
Yeah.
That's what
I need that
motivates me to
motivation
eat
too.
right and work out really hard. If I lost arm wrestling, when I stopped fighting, there was a little bit of a lull there, and I'd be in the middle of a workout and be, why am I doing this? And I just
Yeah.
walk out of the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the same way. I found arm wrestling, and I can tell you, I actually probably was on, my doctor told me basically if I don't change my life, I got 2 years to live. And that was like,
Yeah.
that was hard. That was like COVID, like beginning, COVID time. And he just came right out and told me, he's like, "Yeah, you better do something." And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? And then I've told the story 1,000 times, but I was sitting there and I was watching and I'm like, I'm fat. I'm out of shape. I got back problem. I had all these problems. And I'm watching the WAL and I'm watching Matt Mask and Ron Bath and John and I'm watching Game of Arms and I'm watching all this shit and I'm hooked. I love it because my family's has an arm wrestling history. So I was like, well, fuck, man. I'm like, that could work. My wife goes, well, why don't you message Matt? One of these guys is Matt guy. I'm like, I looked him up. I'm like, Red Deer. I'm like, that's only an hour drive. I'm like, I messaged Matt. And he goes, well, you ain't gonna fucking learn anything unless you practice. So here's my address. And I was like, okay. And then boom, went to Matt's house, and I met Cody the first day. Hey, Cody, you
Yeah.
were there the very first day because you were the first
Yeah.
person I got to really pull. Yeah, and that was it for me. Like I'm fucking. Well, I live, breathe, eat, and shit arm wrestling now. I can't. Don't talk to me about arm wrestling because we'll talk all night long. Like my wife drives her fucking nuts. She's like, "Do you ever stop?" I'm like, "No." It's like everything is arm wrestling. So
I've had so many people tell me you
yeah,
talk too much about arm wrestling. I was like, I
yeah,
love it. I'm sorry.
yeah, I know. I'm like, my whole life's revolved around it. So I truly do everything I do is for the sport, right? Like I'm only starting this league, like me, Dakota, and Zach, because I don't know. It's motivating. It just it makes me feel like I'm contributing to the sport I love. You know what I mean? And giving people opportunities that they need. We have good, like we have some leagues here and stuff. Like there's no lack of opportunity. There's always events going on here, but there's nothing like I want to have something where it's so big, it's got its own ranking system. I want something so big. I want to get where 98 is so big that we can all have a unified ranking system for the 98 because we're in every state and every province or whatever across North America. That would be amazing. You know what I mean? And yeah, and this gatekeeper shit too, where you just like basically protect your rank, that shit's got to go too. Because I mean, you get guys that are fucking inactive for a year, but yet they're top of the rankings and no one can touch them because they won't pull anybody. So I'd like to see that change too. Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I believe that in the rankings, that if say the guy one or two ranks below you challenges you out and you don't answer, you don't reply, or you say no,
Yeah, we have that rule here in
you
Alberta
get
already.
bumped down.
No, we have that. So
Yeah, but I'm talking about on the world,
yeah,
like
I
the
know, and
high
I
level.
know it should be that way for the North American rankings. I know it's if you're one under the guy, you pretty much have to say yes. Yeah,
I think if you're within five of them,
even
you
five. I
know,
know. I agree too. I think
yeah,
so.
I like the way the ARS system is progressing. I think the longer it goes, the more people are going to start leaning on it, is because
Mhm.
that's the one ranking system that takes
Everything.
politics out of it.
Yeah, it's just how you do. Yeah. It's not because you beat that guy when he was tired at that. That's another thing too. We have this thing here where if you beat somebody in a turn, the thing is brackets are bullshit. Like I beat this one guy. I had a super match with him, and it was my first super match. I was so happy, and it was my opportunity to get on the rankings because we only keep track of the top 20, right? So I'm like, yes, I'll get on the rankings. So I trained, I worked hard, I had a super match, I beat him. About a month later, I was in a tournament and I pull masters and I pulled at the pro, right? So I like to pull masters and the pro. I just want to get the most out of my day. If I'm going arm wrestling, I'd like to pull a lot. So I had some wars and I had a pretty rough time in masters. I think I got all the way up to Josh Bellin in that one too, right? But I was tired, right? Josh is a beast. He's our number one in Canada, other than Devin and Matt. But anyway, I go and I pull the open afterwards, and I get this guy that I had a super match a month before with, but it wasn't first round either. I got him like third. I've already done a whole bracket. Now I'm in another bracket. I had a war with this one guy, and then I get this guy I just beat in a super match a month earlier. Well, guess what? I did. I ended up, my hand was fatigued. He ended up getting on top and he pinned me. Well, guess what? Right away the next day he got my ranking. To me, that's bullshit. So what?
Well, it is, and we have a rule where you can't if you've already pulled the class.
Yeah,
So the rule is if you pull somebody fresh on fresh in a tournament like first match and you beat them,
yeah,
you can take the rank, or if
okay,
you beat them in a super match.
yeah,
And there are certain rankings where if you're in the same bracket and you both meet anywhere in the
yeah.
bracket, but you haven't pulled anything before that, you can take the rank too. But
Okay, okay.
if
But
you've
yeah,
already pulled another class,
yeah.
then in America you can't take the rank
Oh, here
like
you
that.
here you can. You just lose your rank. But I got so I come up with a system, and what I was thinking about, even maybe we can talk as promoters if we ever did have a 98 rankings, like maybe outside the airs, but always have the airs, right? But what I was thinking is let's say me and you, we've had some burners, we're in the same weight class, and you're ranked fucking second, right? And I'm like ranked seventh or 10th, or let's say even 15th, and I managed to beat you in the tournament, but it doesn't say now. I don't get your rank. But what it can do is it can give me the opportunity to have a super match with you. So what I my suggestion was is listen, if you beat somebody, you don't get their rank because you beat them in the tournament because there's all kinds of factors, right? But you do, I think you can earn a super match with that person for their rank. So you know what I mean? So let's say you get beat by the number seven, you're number two in the tournament. Well, now you guys can have a super match. And then he's earned that. He didn't get your rank, but he's earned the right to have a super match with you because he was able to pin you in a tournament. Like that's kind of cool, right? Because then you'd have a lot
I,
of super matches.
I support that.
Yeah, like it's
I
fair.
also think that there should be a super match and a tournament rankings.
Well, yes, but then who's doing the ranking? That's the problem is you gotta be the guy then, right? You got to be the guy that keeps up on it, does the rankings, has the time to do it. That's the thing. Everybody wants something, but are they willing to do it? You know what I mean? That's the problem too, right? So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But
Yeah, the rankings are very political, and also conversely, if you're the one running it, it's very tough to.
yeah,
I mean, there's really no way of making it perfect.
perfect.
But
Yeah.
I definitely like your idea. That's a good way to go about it too. That would definitely be something to strongly consider and kick around in a promoters
Yeah.
meeting for sure.
I thought it sounded really fair because we were looking at this and like I'm vice president on the board now in Alberta. So I got voted in. It was nice. It was thanks to all my peers that voted for me. So I thought, little things like this, these are things that I just want to make the sport better and more fair. Like, listen, we can't get it perfect, but we can do our best to try to make it more fair all the time, right? And, be open to things. And the one thing that I thought, I said, well, if someone did beat me in a tournament, and yeah, you know what, they should have the right to challenge me to a super match. So, if it comes down to where you had that happen, I don't think anybody would argue the fairness in it, right? Because it's genuinely fair and it won't tell no lies. So if let's say I did beat you in the tournament. Well, now I got to prove that I can beat you for real, right? Because there's all kinds of factors. So, it could be a real good eye opener and humbling to somebody to be like, "Oh, I beat Paul Passmore. Yeah, I pinned him. Yeah, I'm the shit." And then now I'm getting a super match with you. You just fucking crush me. Well, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that, you
and
know,
then you really do get 100% of somebody. If you
yeah,
catch them in a tournament, you might catch them fresh in a tournament, and they're
yeah,
just not having a good day. But
yep, that
rest
happens.
assured, if they're going to meet you for a super match, they're going to be prepped for you, and you're going to get the best version of
You're gonna
them
get the
you're going
best of
to
him. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I've
pick.
had tournaments that I've just entered that I didn't train hard for, but hey, there's a tournament next week and you want to go? Yeah, fuck, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm not in my best shape, right? But I'm gonna go. Fuck it, it's gonna be fun. But the problem is, this is another thing too. If you got guys going to the tournament thinking that, they're not just going for fun or they're going to bang because it's the tournament day, but they're worried about that rank, Like, oh man, what if I get tired and some bum fucking beats me and gets my rank? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that either, right? You don't want guys, that's where the guys, oh, that guy doesn't compete much because he's ranked. He doesn't want to sacrifice his rank to somebody. You know what I mean? So I think it would really take away from that fear. No one would ever be fearful.
Or discouraging someone from pulling multiple classes who would normally
Exactly.
pull.
Yeah,
They're like, well, I don't want to pull multiple classes because if I lose to somebody when I'm fatigued, I'll lose my rank,
that's right. Yeah.
which is extremely unfair.
Oh, I agree. I
You
agree on
could
that.
also do it where not every tournament was a ranking tournament. You just have the Alberta rankings say these are the tournaments throughout the year that we're going to be basing the rankings off of, or
Mm.
like, and then these ones are just freebies.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Because
Uh,
I like to pull multiple classes in
yeah,
tournaments.
of
If
course.
there's I mean, I literally pull 230, 250, 270, and supers all and just bang it out. And my goal is to win all of them, but it's exhausting. And
Yes. Yes.
but I like to get that tournament time, table time at a tournament. It's a little different than practice table time, and
I
you're really
agree.
getting a true match, and it's the best out of somebody, and a really good fair setup and start and go,
Yeah.
and people watching. That experience is priceless. It's
Yes.
better than having a couple beers with your buddies in the
Yeah.
basement, pulling and starting halfway carved in and letting them hit
Yeah.
and trying to catch them and this and that, where you're getting that true tournament experience. That's what really makes you better.
I agree. I agree. And how many times have you ever done this where you go to a practice and there's a guy there and he's just crushing you, or you just can't get nothing on him because he's starting with his wrist a little caught. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't care. It's just practice, right? But you think,
Mm.
oh fuck, that guy was really strong, and then you get him in a tournament and you fucking just obliterate him, and you think to yourself, oh shit, like, what was different? Well, one lot's different. You're getting a fair grip. You're getting the stuff. There's practice pulling. Yes, there's, you can tell a person's strength or level in a practice pull, but you're only seeing a little bit, right? You got to
Mm.
pull that veil over and see everything. You got to compete against them, right? So I've had it the opposite where I crush a guy in practice and I think, oh, he's nothing. And then I go on the table and he just flashes me. And I'm like, where'd that come from? Right. So these are things too, right? I always tell people, listen, there's a lot of guys there. And Matt tells me the same thing. He goes, Brian, practice, go 60, 70% and work up to that. And guess what? If someone pins you, just try a different angle, try different move, try going inside with them, try different shit, try to beat that person at 60, 70%. And he goes, that is what's truly going to make you better, right? If you go to practice with this mindset, right? And work different positions, everything. So when you go to a tournament, I've heard a lot of guys say, oh, I crushed that guy, he's nothing. And then they go and that guy crushes them. It's like, yes, because when it's for real, it's a lot different than when it's practice.
Yep.
Even
And that's why
somebody
I
can
like to
be,
get
yeah, like you know what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah, that's why I like to get so much reps in at a big tournament. It's a golden opportunity to really get better.
mhm,
You're going to find out a lot more about yourself and your pulling style and your strengths and your true weaknesses by pulling a lot at a tournament. And
yep,
if you're doing anything to discourage somebody from doing that, you're um, you're hurting that person in the sport too. As
yeah,
if like what we're talking about with the rankings, if someone's afraid to pull multiple classes because it might hurt their ranking,
yeah.
all you're doing is hurting that person's ability to better themselves.
I agree. I agree. Well, your wife just said, so here's the thing. We get that sometimes with outsiders too, where guys will come and try to just smash us. You know what I mean? And then,
Mhm.
like there's practice champs everywhere. But I can tell you right now, if I was to come down, Paul, and meet you, I would when I pulled with you, I can promise you I wouldn't be trying to smash you. I would be trying to learn. I would be trying to, you know what I mean? Like I'd be communicating well with you. Yeah, I would probably, try to give you something, but like it would be communicated. It would be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna drive now. You could, you know what I mean? I'm gonna pull you properly. You know what I mean? These practice champs that just go around just going all out at practice. You know what? I just let them pin me in practice. I'm like, oh yeah, you're so strong. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like I don't mind going all out with you in practice, but it will be communicated. You know what I mean? There's no practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm there to learn and to better myself and to train with you and get stronger and help you get stronger. I'm not there to try to pin. Sometimes I don't even pin in practice. Sometimes if I break you and get you, I'll just go back to center. I'll be like, oh, I got you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be practice champion, right? And actually, I find that sometimes, guys get beat up and hurt. It's because that's how they practice, right? They're not truly getting better. They're just going all out trying to be the practice champion when really they should be slowing it down, taking a 60, 70, because you know what? When you're 60, 70, you have your mind's working. So everything you're doing, you have a consciousness to it. When you're redlining and shit, what are you learning when you're redlining? You're not, right? You're not thinking. Even if I did get you, and let's say I got a pin on you, I wouldn't really know how I did it. I was redlining. I didn't learn nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really like the practice champion mindset, really, myself.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you'd play. It's
I
okay.
wouldn't say that I'm a practice champion. That's not what I go for.
You're not like that
I
anymore
do
either.
like redlining all the time.
But you'll
I
communicate it,
find
though.
it's built my strength, it's built my stamina.
Yeah.
And yes, my technique has taken a little longer to build up to it, but it's coming, and I've tweaked it. It's getting tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. And I don't know, I find that a lot of people, when it comes to pulling a lot,
Yeah.
they get tired real fast.
Yeah, you don't.
Their bodies are not used to it. You're not redlining enough.
Yeah. No, I think
No.
there's a place for it too, Cody. Like, don't get me wrong. And actually,
Well,
I knew
yeah,
you were
so-
going to smile and say something. So,
What I do for that, in most of my practices, sometimes in my practices, there's always a lot of people that show up.
yeah.
There might be one or two people that can push me. And, and when I pull with those guys, they're high level guys.
Yep.
And when we get on the table, we will redline
Yep.
because they're another high level guy that knows how to arm wrestle, and we're not going to hurt each other.
Yeah.
We'll go and go and go and really dig it because there's somebody that can actually match my strength, and then we'll get to a certain point, and usually not to the pin either. We'll stop and start back over and really get those hard red line pulls in because we know how to arm wrestle and not hurt each other. And when the match really is pretty much over, so when we'll restart and kind of save our arms. And with a lot of the other guys who are, they're strong guys, what a lot of them do, I'll let them hit on me and work on catching and holding and getting in bad positions and trying to fight out of bad positions and work my technique, like you said, going, 70% trying to beat them with more technique and stuff like that and trying new things and certain ideas that I've had between practices. I'm going to try this out, and they'll be just strong enough for me to practice different things on and try to get my set of skills a little bit better.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying, where you do both. I do think both of them have their place.
Oh yeah. Listen, I was ranting, but what I meant, what I probably would have got to is that you can red line, but you work into a red line. And you know what? You use the people in practice. Like a lot of times I'll start off with the guys I'm much stronger than because it warms me up and I can let them work. Because it's like, listen, the senior guy holds, the junior guy works. That's how we usually do it. And eventually I'll work my way up to stronger guys. And then it's more I can redline. But and I also don't hurt as much if I slowly ease into it that way. And if things are communicated, the biggest thing in practice is communication. Always have that good communication with the guy across from you. Like, yeah, you can redline. Of course you can, but to communicate it, there might be a certain way. I might want to work on my hook. And I'm like, okay, Paul or Cody, we're gonna ease into it until we're like, 90% like going, you know what I mean? And then, and then if you're communicating always and you have that agreement, then you'll never get hurt. I've seen guys almost get punched out at practice. Like, you know what I mean? I almost punched out somebody once because I said I was tweaked and I wanted to go slow. We can work our way in. And he went right in for a flop press. And I got so angry. I'm like, this is practice, man. Like, if you want to work on your press, you need to communicate that to me. And right now, my elbow's sore. I don't want you fucking max out flop pressing me right now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, communication is, I think if you can develop good communication on the practice table, you will see your game. You'll get more out of practice. Yes, you
Yeah.
can red line if it's agreed. I mean, yes, of course you can red line, but what I'm saying is there should be no practice champs, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure both guys are getting something out of the experience, whether you're junior or you're senior. That's all.
We usually end every practice with a king of the table when we're real tore down,
Yep.
which we're also tore down. We're not capable of inflicting a whole lot of damage on each other towards the end of a long practice. And the king of the table will flop around and change quite a few times too,
Yep.
usually. But you get a lot of good endurance work and red line work there too. When you're so tore down, you're not going to hurt yourself as bad as when you're fresh.
Yep. Yeah, we do it, but Matt's always king usually. Yeah. But yeah, Matt will be king for a long. He's got good endurance, believe it or not. He can, we had a practice a month or 2 months ago, and there was like 77 people at practice. It was huge, and it was at Gord Squire's house in Calgary. It was a big, big, big event. Anyway, Matt, that was the first time I ever seen Matt so beat down. Matt went for literally 3 hours, and he pulled to the point. That was his prep for Iraqli, but he pulled it to the point where everybody was pinning him by the end of practice. Yeah, it was crazy. So,
And sometimes you got to do that. One
yep,
thing talking about training, you get to a certain level, your strength and skills there. The best thing you can focus on is coming in as healthy as possible for a match.
yeah,
If you come in with something tweaked or banged up, that's going to hurt you more than anything in a lot of these matches once you get to a certain level.
yeah,
So my focus now is to constantly improve, but do everything I can to avoid injury.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm going to be
I,
that way
I
when I heal.
I have
Yeah.
to say, feeling Matt somewhat fresh hit into you with, I wouldn't say everything, but with lots of what he has. Because Sean was pulling on the band. Forget
Yeah,
who he was training for. But when he hits into you with that right arm, oh my God.
yeah.
Even with the band, my arm was hurting for 3 days afterwards.
Matt's added a lot of strength, man. He's now he used to frown upon some of the training, but now, yeah, he's got people pulling on bands, and he's pulling like we have actually a lot of tanks in our club actually too. And yeah, and he's pulling tanks with bands on his arm and everything. And yeah, Matt's gotten very, very. I'd like to see some of the losses he had. I'd like to see him get rematches because yeah, I think Matt can make a big wave for sure.
The reason why I think he's more adapted to bands is
Yeah,
because when he was losing, I remember him saying, and because he was talking to someone, and it's because he's always holding.
yeah, he
He's
does.
never ever training
Yeah,
his hip.
yeah, that's true.
Everyone in the club he's so much stronger with, and he can't hit. So
Yeah.
he's integrated those bands.
So now,
So even us weaker guys, we can somewhat take his hit.
well, and he can work now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt, you know what? I never used to pull him because I was always I was always like I tell you the truth, I was intimidated by Matt's lever in his hand. And my style, I could never do nothing with. So I would frown upon pulling them, and then Matt was kind of gave me shit. Fuck, yeah, you're not pulling me enough. You got to pull. Like, that's how I help you. You know what I mean? So I ended up when I started going. I haven't been going much lately. I've been really busy with my daughter being pregnant. I got my first grandkid on the way. Everything else, but yeah, like now I try
Congratulations.
every time. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know I got a little grandson coming in probably about a week. So my first grandkid. So
Have they got a
Well, how
name
old
yet?
are you, Brian?
yeah, I'm 46, turning 47 in October. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not young. I'm an old fuck. I
Yeah,
got
we're
into sport
we're
pretty
same
old.
age.
Are we?
We're same
Oh,
age. Yeah. Yeah.
nice, nice. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
and I
one thing about it, a lot of the that's part of it too. A lot of the guys I'm pulling are significantly younger than me.
younger.
That
Yeah,
Father Time's undefeated. I know.
yeah.
I can't train like I used to, and I got to be a little smarter. The
Yeah,
strength's still there, but it just you feel it. You do
yeah.
feel it when you're in your 40s. No matter how good you take care of yourself, you do feel different when you
No, I
start hitting them
agree.
40s.
No, I agree. And I think that was a thing with me with the pains and the inch. I've had my share. I've been competing 3 years. August 6th will be my third, like 3 years full that I've been competing. So, And I had a lot of injuries, man. But it was like everyone said how strong I was. I think I was just so damn strong, but my tendons, I didn't give my tendons the time. I was trying. Problem is I'm competitive. So the second I joined the club, I wanted to be competitive in that top 10 right away. So like, yeah, like I train like no other. Everyone that knows me, I put so much into arm wrestling, but I keep ripping tendons and shit. So I think I'm going to be after this time. I think I'm going to approach training a little different, and hopefully I can strengthen the tendon. They say 5 years anyway. They say 3 to 5 years. Like you get strong, and then after 3 years, it's all about every time your tendons get a little stronger, you level up. So basically, I'm gonna just start working on the conditioning of the tendons. Not so much. I focus on strength so much. Matt yelled at me the one time. He goes, "You're fucking strong." He goes, "You probably beat me in every lift in the world, but you just got to get better and build your tendons and just, you know what I mean? Don't worry about. I worry so much about being strong, and I need to worry more about table time, getting better, learning how to pull. You know what I mean? Because I'm still fairly green, right? So
I'll tell you one piece of advice that I could give that helped me. It might not help you, it might not help anybody else, but it helped me probably more than anything I've done in the sport. So I'm 6 foot tall. I train with Ron Bass. He's my mentor. He's significantly taller. He's probably 6'3", might be pushing 6'4".
yeah, same height
His
as me.
arms are a lot longer. His hands are a lot bigger. And when I was coming up, I wanted to be Ron Bass. I wanted to pull like Ron Bass. I studied everything he did and tried to pull like him, and it didn't damn work.
Hmm.
I was spinning my wheels because I'm not built like Ron Bass.
Yeah.
One day it occurred to me, and unfortunately, it was when he had his match with Todd Hutchings and got injured. Yeah, I was like, why don't I find a high level puller who is built more similar to me and study what they do? They have similar leverages, similar height, similar reach, similar lever lengths, and Todd was a lot more of a similar size puller to me than Ron. And there was a couple other guys, like Nicky Spearoff was another one. And I started watching them. I knew we were closer in size, and I started studying how they stood, how they set up, how they hit, what their style was. And when I started basically just emulating the high level guys that were built like me and had leverages similar to me, their style, literally, I'd spend hours just watching all their matches. I'd have my phone out and I'd be on the table and I'd start setting up just shadow sparring and doing everything they did, every little move they made, every way they turned, where they put their feet, when they hit, how they put their everything. And that's when I started leveling up. When I started finding a high level puller that was built more like me with my leverages and physical advantages, and they learned with a body more like mine how to get to the top because I couldn't pull like Ron because I'm not built like him. And
Mhm.
when you find somebody who's kind of made it at the top that's built similar to you, study them. That helped me more than anything.
Yep. Yep. Well, that's good advice, man, because I I did somewhat the same thing and realized the same thing. I love Todd Hutchings. I love his pulling style, and I wanted to pull like Todd Hutchings. I wanted to smash sideways and just not give a shit. And basically, even still, I still kind of try to pull that way, but now I've been injured. So now this injury is a pretty significant one. So I'm gonna go, and my legend, who I always wanted to be like, was obviously John Brzenk. So my hand, when I started arm wrestling, everyone talked about my thumb. That I'm gonna be special. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I don't know what you mean, right? But I kind of know what my gifts are now. And I'm kind of in my mind, I'm kind of it's a high bar, but that's who I'm studying now. And look at I feel like I kind of I have some of the characteristics that John Brzenk had. So I'm kind of looking at trying to, and it's hard with him because John, and then he can do everything. And I think that the nice thing about it is I never really specialized one move yet in the 3 years I've been pulling. I've been working on my press, on my hook, on my top roll, my low hand. I've actually been training everything. So I don't really have an ace. And I think that's been another reason why it's been kind of slow for me. Has it been slow, Cody? I don't know. My progression was normal or just extra slow. It felt slow to me. It feels like my progression's been very slow. But I think it's because I work on everything. So
See, I feel like the first 2 years you
yeah.
shot. It was
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. Because
And then the last year
just
like it's not going like this now. It's more
yeah,
like this, but you're still progressing. But
yeah,
your body's gotten to a point now. You've kind of got the technique. Now it's just refining and refining and refining.
yeah. No, I think that's how I feel. Yeah. I just wanted to know an outsider perspective that knew me. So yeah.
And then another piece of advice I would give myself that could have saved me a couple of years: start working static holds
Yeah.
and which is different, static pulls.
Hmm.
So static holds. This is just for anybody listening. I'm sure you two
Yep.
gentlemen are very well aware. You get the static hold, a lot of weight, pull it, and it's pulling back, and you're holding,
Yep.
just working that endurance. And then the static pull, you're pulling against something that's not moving. You get a
Yeah.
chain hooked
Like a
to
chain.
that does in red line, and hold that for as hard as you can pull on it for 30 seconds,
Yeah.
10 to 30 seconds, depending on how you feel that day. I'd say a minimum of 10, maximum of 30 on both.
Yeah.
That increases your table strength tremendously. And then getting you a good 2 inch and a good 3 inch handle and working your cupping. And then don't ever forget about your just standard regular dumbbell
Yeah.
wrist curl too. A lot of people when they get into arm wrestling,
Yeah.
they forget, they start working the 2 inch and 3 inch, and you can feel that 2 inch, and then you can kind of feel the 3 inch.
Yeah.
But don't forget about like the regular standard handle, working just your wrist. You feel it in
Yeah.
your wrist. A lot of people abandon that when they start arm wrestling. Make
Yeah.
sure you're working all three. But that cup is very important no matter what you want to do. If you want to top roll or hook, you
Yeah.
got to have that cup
Keep your hand.
and be versatile. Be able to don't ever abandon anything. You need your right. If you're going to hook, you still need a good riser and back pressure. You
Hmm.
need good side pressure. Work it all,
Yeah.
but also try to implement what you're best at, on everybody, and then have a good backup plan if that don't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, right? Because when I started, I was right into the super matches. I think I had my first super match. Well, at the end of my first year pulling, I had my first super match. So I was like, well, this guy's I had to, so I trained specifically for him because I knew that I had to hit him off center. So I just 2 months I trained for this guy. Then my next super match, the guy pulled way different, and he always beat me in practice. I don't think I pinned him once in practice. Hey, Christian Dell, when I super matched him, I think he beat me every time in practice. So I trained for him. And specifically, I ended up beating him 4-0. But the thing is I love that. So I never really had a passion to train one move. Like I just want to be that guy that be like, oh, you're a hooker? Well, I'm gonna low hand you. Oh, you're a top roller? Well, guess what? I'm gonna hook you. You know what I mean? Or I just want to, I don't know what. I think it's that be able to game plan and make a style for a certain opponent. There's something about it that I love it. So
Well,
uh,
then there's playing the games. If I ever, very few people are going to try to hook me. Most
yeah.
people are, almost everybody's going to try to top roll me.
Mhm.
And if I know they're going to hook me, I invite it. I'm ready to just bam.
Yeah.
There's some people that will. I love it.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, I'll set up real high on my wrist back and create a little bit of a
Little
gap
gap.
here. And you kind of load up with a really tight grip, my knuckles pushed out, and a lot of back pressure. I'm squeezing the crap out of their hand, and they're like ready. And about the time they're about to say go, I relax my hand. And when they say go, I drive forward and cup in real deep. And they're thinking all that back pressure. And immediately, right before they say
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
I'll let go of all of it and relax my hand and just
Yeah.
slide my hand around as they're hitting.
You
And the
baited
rest,
him.
all their
Yeah.
bam, they're right in my hook. And everything they felt in the setup until a millisecond before we fired was, I'm going to fire sideways or hit, and I'm loaded up like I'm going to hit sideways, and that's what they're expecting. And then the next thing you know, they get a dead fish all the way and all they did was fill in a gap in my hand, and bam, they're
Yeah.
caught in a deep hook. And the worst position you can be in is when you try to top roll somebody and you get caught in a deep cup hook, defensive hook, because you're really
Yeah.
screwed in that
And then
position.
before you know it, you're on your bicep. And if you're not used to pulling like that, it's bad. Yeah. That's good baiting. I just started learning those little things, bro. I just started learning in the last year. Like just little, like how to bait somebody a bit. You know what I mean? Because that's basically what you're doing, right? And it's all
Yeah,
those little things that make us better at arm wrestling. Those are the little tips and then yeah, like I said, you can only get so strong, right? And it comes a point where it's those little things that make you climb and get better and have a higher level.
my
It's
match with James Wall, the main thing I laid awake that whole night, kicking myself about. I low hooked him every round, and that was my game plan, and I didn't abandon it because it was so competitive. And it
yeah.
was just, I was in the moment, I was in the fight, I was tired, I was fatigued, I wasn't thinking clearly when it got really deep into the match.
Hmm.
The first thing I thought about when I caught my breath, I wanted to go jump off the top of the building. Why the didn't I high hook him at any point? I was like, if I'd high
Yeah.
hooked him, I'd have
You
probably
gotta
blown
crush.
right through him and won, ended that match. And I was, and I thought about that, and basically the next day I high hooked everybody, and that's honestly my best move. And I
Yeah,
didn't
it's a
even
good
throw it
strong one.
against
I've
him.
seen you high hook, and it's hell yeah,
Yeah,
but they're going for a ride.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why in the hell? Because I had trained a certain way in my game plan, and it was working, and every match was competitive, and I didn't adjust,
Yeah.
and I felt like I could still finish it with that low hand hook, and I just,
Yeah.
that was the one thing I laid awake all night kicking myself
Well,
about. I was like,
because
why in the hell didn't I high hook him?
uh,
You know,
yeah, because you were in the match doing what you were doing, and you knew, and being having the heart you do in a match, you're thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna outlast this guy. You know what I mean? I've already felt it. I've already been in there. Yeah, and maybe you thought about high hooking, but you were probably like, wow, why risk that? I know I'm in the match if I do this. Good chance you probably just went with what you knew. You know what I mean? You knew it was like working to a degree, right? You'd already pinned him, right? So you're like, I can see how that could happen. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I've seen your high
I'm
hook.
making,
Yeah,
I'm
your high
making.
hook's good.
I'm so good at cornering people. When I'm in your corner, I see everything. I'm really good at helping make adjustments. If I could just clone myself, and I'm good at calming somebody down too when they get in the moment, it just corner myself. If I'd been able to corner myself that match, I'm like, all right, Paul, calm down, take a breath. Right, I know what you're doing is working and it's very competitive, but I want you to high hook him this time, and you're going to blow through him. This will be your third win. We'll
Yeah,
go have a beer when it's over. You got this.
yeah,
But I just didn't have anybody to tell me that.
yeah,
I couldn't see the forest for the trees when I was tired towards the end of that match.
yeah,
But that's one good thing. If you got a good person in your corner, they can make all the difference.
yeah,
When I pulled Corey West at Wall 505, I lost the first round, and I had Bill and Steven Logson and Brian Kerner in my
yeah,
corner. And I
yeah,
was in a very hostile crowd. Pretty much everybody else was cheering for Corey.
yeah,
And I lost the first round, and I was like, shit. And Corey had never beaten me. I was like, damn it, he has gotten better. And I
hmm,
walked over to my corner, and I was a little like, they cornered me so good. They just, Paul, calm down. All right, you
yeah,
had him beat. All right, this is the wall pad. Next time you hit him and pull him over, you let him up and was going to try to fire back down again. Don't let him up,
hmm,
and then pull all the way to the very back of that big, squishy 7-inch long pad and just sit there, and he's not going to come out of it, and then
yeah,
do it two more times, and you've got him. You've got this match.
yeah,
Unless he adjusts past that, you beat him inside. So just go do it again, and don't be stupid and let him back up. And they calmed me down. They got my shit back together, and I walked back out there and beat him.
yeah.
Just because I had a good cornerman, it made all the difference.
Yeah, calm you down. And you know what? When you have a good corner, like I get a good cornerman. Sean Crowther, he's a member of the Red Deer Club. He's always with Matt.
Yeah,
You
I know
probably
him.
met
I
him.
met him. I
Yeah,
met him in Kentucky when he
yeah,
pulled Artem that day. He
yeah,
and I didn't get to pull, unfortunately, but yeah, yeah,
yeah,
he's a good guy.
yeah. He's like my mentor, kind of like whenever I have a super match, he's always in my corner. And whenever I pull, he's always in my corner. And you know what? I've won matches that I like even the one match, I don't think I should have won, but I had him and I just trust him 100%. Like I just trust him. If he says Brian low hand, I'm going out there and I'm gonna fucking low hand. If he says Brian, okay, you change it up. Just you know what? Just hit for hand control only. He goes, you're stronger than him, blah blah blah. I'll calm down. I'll get hand control. It does matter to having a good corner man. And then you have to trust though, and you have to just put your faith in your corner man and do exactly what he tells you. And then if he's a good corner man, everything will work out. Because if not, you're second guessing yourself, your hand's starting to blow up, you're panicking, you don't want to try, you're worried about trying something else because it might even be worse than before, you know what I mean? So it is important to
Yeah.
have somebody you trust in your corner for sure. Yeah.
Yep, I've had cornermen. Conversely, I've had cornermen give me some horrible advice, and they end up
Oh
losing the
yeah.
match. You
That can happen too. Yeah, yeah.
know?
Definitely, definitely. But well, listen, you know what, boys? We could probably, you know what, talking to you guys, we could talk all fucking night, no problem. But Dexter Tan
He-
is live right now, so I don't want to steal his thunder. He's gonna be coming on. He agreed to come on through the fingers this week coming up. So we're gonna have Dexter Tan on too. So that's kind of cool. So we'll know some more information about East versus West, what's going on. I'm not gonna cover drama with them. I'm just gonna cover positive, like you know what I mean? Like the positive stuff, you know. What I want to work on real quick. So I know I said I was just trying to get rid of you guys, and now I'm gonna talk your ear off. But I want to work a qualifier for East versus West, but maybe have two, right? And then have some kind of match to qualify for the big stage. So I wanted to do East versus West in Canada, but I want West Coast versus East Coast as like a big event, and then have super matches and then get qualifiers. And anyway, I got all these ideas I want to throw at Dexter because I actually ran the East versus West qualifier back when, remember the Florida qualifier? So I did we ran a mini qualifier for the guys to be able to go to Florida and pull, and it was awesome. Like, and guys were so pumped, and we had people go and win that qualifier in Florida, even though I don't think they've got a call to go to East versus West, even though they won. But I don't know what kind of qualifier it was. You go qualify and never get a match. Like Dill or Wallace Dilly, he didn't get a match he had to qualify 3 times to get a match. That guy. But anyway, I
well,
wanted to,
that
yeah,
was
do
part
more.
of my beef with the East versus West Challenger Series. It was kind of understood that we were going to get a match on the main card if we won,
Yeah,
and one or two of us did, and that was part of my beef with that too.
yeah,
I'm pretty happy to see Robert Baxter running. I feel like
me
he's one of
too.
those guys. He's going to do what he says he's going to do, and I
Yes,
got a lot of faith in him.
me too. Me too.
Man of his word.
Yeah, and that's why I say, you know what, everyone watching and everybody out there, people are saying, I don't know if East versus West is going to fail. Is arm wrestling going to go back the way it was? I see all these polls everywhere. If we let it, it will. If we let it, it will. But you know what? If we just keep supporting and keep on going, you know what I mean? We got
Well,
nowhere but up.
just put it. Think about it like this. I was part of the last Knuckles Up, and everybody remembers the intense amount of drama with the payment on that one, and I was part of that.
I'm still bad. I'm still actually been bad. They haven't paid
Well,
everybody yet.
but you also didn't see me bashing anybody because it's not
No,
good for the sport.
no, no, no.
Knuckles Up is a good promotion, and they're good for the sport. If
Yes.
you're hurting Knuckles Up, you're hurting the sport. Some people made some mistakes. Hey, he who without sin cast the
Yeah.
first stone, right? I've fucked up a bunch of times in my life.
Hmm.
Cut these guys a little slack. They did fuck up, but damn, I kept it between me and them and off social media, right? I got paid,
Yeah.
but I handled it like a gentleman,
Yeah.
and I kept my business to myself between me and them, and I didn't blast everybody and try to hurt the sport. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I'm saying that is,
Yeah.
I have a little bit of beef with some of the things that happened with my East West qualifier. I felt like I earned a main card slot that I never
Yeah.
got or haven't
Yeah.
got yet, and you know that's between me and them. I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm a
Yeah.
advocate of the sport,
Hmm.
and I'll never do anything to hurt the sport. If I like I said earlier, if I got a problem, I'll handle it with you privately and as gentlemanlike as possible. But um, doing anything to harm a promotion and bashing them, it just hurts everybody.
No, I agree. I agree. I did well, and I still stick to it actually. Well, you got to remember, I'm doing 3 podcasts a week all the time, and I am supporting and I'm helping promote all these organizations. And I don't like to badmouth anybody. And I actually heard that Knuckles Up actually cared about the athletes and that they were. And you know what? I heard nothing but good things. But I was the only reason I got a little upset, and I haven't been promoting them right now um, is just because I just want to make sure everyone got paid for one, because I think it's not on them. They still have to make good. But another thing is I didn't like how there was no statement made. I felt like if they would have just well, they kind of did. They didn't really. They just went into hiding over it. I just think they should have been more open, a little bit more open about it. It's just like the Greg Sharp thing, right? Like Greg Sharp, he fucking let his emotions get him. He made this stupid fucking thing where he knows it's stupid, right? And I know he wants to just move forward, right? Because they got a good thing going. They got good prizes over there.
I've never done a damn thing to him, and I'm banned.
Yeah,
I
I
love him
know.
before.
I know. Well, we had Don on last week. We had Don Underwood on last week, and he knew that I was going to put him under the fire when he came on, but I was nice about it, right? I just said, "Listen." Don said to me, he danced around it. He just said, "Listen, I don't agree with what Greg did either, but he's my business partner and I have to stand by him. And Greg's a good person, all this shit." I said, "Well, that's fine." But I said, the thing is, if Greg was to come out, I can promise you right now, if he was to come out and say, "Listen, I was emotional. You know what I mean? There was some attacks on me. I don't do good with attacks. I talked out of emotion. And listen, I don't want to ban anybody, but you got to know where I'm coming from. I try to do good for the sport, and you know what? It really upset me that this negative light was pushed on me, right? If he would have just came out and made a
Yep,
statement, I promise you it's over. We all fucking support him. All of us. You know what I mean?
yep, I agree 100%. And I
Yeah.
love Don Underwood like a brother, and
Oh,
I've never met
I
Greg.
like
I
him
got
too.
banned by. And you know what? What they did to Don was childish. I mean, not Don, but Greg,
Yeah.
the little carrier meme that he got so mad
That
at.
was
It was
nothing.
childish.
Yeah, it was.
It was funny too, though. It was funny.
Yeah.
Was but it was elementary school childish, and he did get mad. But I mean, damn, who hasn't gotten mad and said something out of anger? Well,
Well, lots of people.
one thing I try to do when I get good and pissed off, I try not to react for about 48 hours. I
Yeah.
try to really
That
think
we
about
have
it,
time to
keep my
think
damn.
about it.
After about 2 days, if I feel like still saying it, which is rare, I'll say something then. But
Yeah.
normally by then I thought it out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to handle this differently. But making a big public post when you're still really pissed off never turns out well. And I could easily forgive him if he's just like, you know what, guys, let's put it in the past. I made a mistake out of anger. That nobody's banned. It was just word spoken anger. Please forgive me. I'd be 100% cool. I think
Yeah,
everybody else would be too.
I
And you
agree.
know what? If you really love the sport, I believe that even when bad shit happens, say you don't get paid or something, you don't keep bringing light to it. Like look at Todd Hutchins. He came out one day speaking about people, bitching because they don't get paid. He's like, me, Ron Bath, friggin' so many of these high level guys that have pulled for many years have been shorted tens of thousands of dollars,
Oh yeah. No, it's true.
and they never bring it up.
Well, it hurts the sport, right?
I'm smart about getting my money, more so than most. I've been ripped off quite a few times in my life. There's been times when I literally sit in a room and be like, all right, and I'll tell the promoter, I said, me and you, neither one's going to leave until I get my money. And I'm the last one here. I'm not going to talk about it with anybody, but you're going to pay me. And I'll
Yeah.
get paid.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be like that. Be like, look, man, that's between me and you. That's our business, but I need my money.
Yeah.
And let's handle this tonight and move on. So whatever else you got worked out, everybody else between you and them, they've all went home. And I won't be sitting there running my mouth and
Yeah.
stirring shit up and having a bunch of people waiting with me either. Just be me and them. And usually I get paid. And I was probably I probably was one of the first people to get paid all my money, but I was very persistent and polite and matter of fact about it from the word go. Like
Yeah.
literally, I saw it coming before it happened. Like right when I first showed up, a couple things went down that were kind of odd. Pulled everybody to the side that I needed to talk to. Had a real good conversation with them, and I was ahead of the curve. I think a lot of people are a little bit too trusting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And I usually always get paid too. And I guess, yeah, people make mistakes. Like I said, it's as a promoter, why are we doing it? We're not doing it. We're doing it because we want to provide something for our community. So why we have to suck our pride up sometimes, right? And I think honestly, like I said, by dancing around it, it's not helping him. If he just come, I promise you, if he made a statement, it would clear everything up. And same thing with Knuckles Up right now. You know what? They did a lot of good, and you know what? I think they still can do a lot of good. But I think they should almost be more. They should almost make some kind of thing to just move forward, just to get the sour taste out. Like you fucking
Well,
something
I'm
happened.
gonna say
Just say
this.
what it
I'm
was.
gonna say this, and I know more than
Mm, the
than
most.
maybe I know more about the situation, a lot more than most probably anybody.
Yeah,
uh, for several reasons, and this is very unfortunate, but they're probably done.
yeah.
And it's not all just that situation. There's kind of
Other things. Yeah,
there's some internal things going on that anyway, it's very unfortunate because they were a great promotion.
yeah.
But that I would be surprised if we see another Knuckles Up. There might be a faction of it come out. From some of the people that did run it, maybe under a different name or possibly under the same name. But I know right now, uh,
Not looking good.
without saying too much, the main guys are with each other.
Yeah.
We're all in court with each other, and that's not good. It's probably they're probably a thing of the past now, unfortunately.
No, I agree. And see, that's what I get scared of. I don't want to see like when Greg made that statement, I'm like, he just destroyed his fucking league. I'm thinking like I understand you're emotional or you're upset, but like there's nothing an arm wrestler hates more than to be told where he can pull. You know what I mean? Like when you put something out there so blunt and like forceful. Well, we're rebels, man. Because like I said, we decide where we pull. We decide what promoter succeeds and which one doesn't. And you just can't put ultimatums out like that. And listen, I'm sure he is a good guy, and I love what they're doing. Like I want to get 100% behind them because $150,000 prize pool, and then they're going to do they want to they do want to do big things, but you got to make good on that. That's all. If he's just got to, and I will just say until he makes good on it, he's going to have a hard time succeeding because you're always going to have.
Attacking innocent people's never the right way to go about it. I mean, especially, but basically they banned the entire northeast section of the United States
I
when
know.
he did. That's the biggest tournament in North America is Winter Blast, and then Arm Gods was huge, and you banned essentially everybody that was there that even watched Arm Gods was there, part of it, promoting it, talking, and then on top of that, everybody that competed in the biggest arm wrestling tournament at Winter Blast, women, children, teenagers, amateurs, pros that just
Yeah,
competed that had nothing to do with it.
yeah.
I was a big part of both of them, but I never, at one point, and still to this day, have never said one bad thing about Greg.
Hmm.
That I got banned.
Yeah.
And that really anybody could, with two eyes could see that's not fair.
Well, that's just
Yeah.
it. You don't have to speak out, right? It's known, right? That's the thing. It might be silent, but how much do I want to go compete at his event after I have that? I just feel like I'd be going against my morals. Like I don't know. It's just the way I am.
Analogy first happened. This was my analogy. It's like me and you and Cody are all hanging out at the bar,
No.
and there's a guy sitting down a couple seats from us, and um, I said something smart ass to him and pissed him off. And he looks and he turns around and he gets mad and punches Cody. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck did Cody do? It was me running my mouth, but and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
turned around and hits you, but didn't do shit to the person that did anything to him. It
Yeah.
just makes no sense. That's kind of how I felt.
You know. Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it, really, because that's kind of what
Yeah,
happened, right? Like, you're
yeah.
not. Yeah. You know what? I just want to see the best for our wrestling. I just think that, as a promoter, we have a responsibility to the pullers, not do our best to, if there is drama, to clear it up and to make it good. And I think that if you start losing the respect of the pullers, you're pretty much done. Like I don't know. You need the respect. You need pullers to respect you and what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing for them. I know because I promote too. Actually, as soon as I started arm wrestling, I started doing events. Like Cody's a champ. He always pulls amazing at my events. But yeah, I love it though, and to see Cody happy and people happy and the people in the community happy and they just like, look at what I got at the event today, or look at the qualifier medal at East versus West, or you know what I mean? It's just like that is what makes me want to promote and do more events. It's not money, and it's definitely you never hear me say don't go to that event or don't go to that event. I'll say go to that event. Get better. I want you at your best. You know what? You get 2 events before mine. Fuck, you might be really good. I don't want to ever. I'll promote everyone else's events too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we all worked like that though, this sport would be like mainstream. It would be already fucking mainstream. It's just the little squabbles that always knock us back down again. Really, it's sad, but listen, I appreciate you guys. I got to go. My wife's messaged me, so she's gonna come and start like I'm gonna start going weird here in a second if I don't get off. So awesome. I'm glad that we had you on, Paul, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot more. I'll get to meet you down the road, and like I said, man, we're partners. So yeah,
Yep.
holding
I
on.
enjoyed it. It was a pleasure,
Thank
Cody
you.
and Brian. I've enjoyed talking to y'all. It's been a good night. Yeah,
It has
both of
been.
y'all have a good evening.
Yeah, you too, brother. Yeah, thanks, Cody, too, for coming, brother.
Hey, boys.
Okay, man. And thanks, chat. Go over, see Dexter.